Chapter 3478. The medicine cauldron emitted a crisp hum, and the tablet next to it also showed the words, refining in progress, warming up. Next to it was a countdown timer. Then, the medicine cauldron began to heat up slowly. After the time it took to burn a stick of incense, it finally gradually entered the state of alchemy. Under Han Jingjing's genius modification, as long as the vital energy was continuously infused, the internal program would automatically adjust the intensity and temperature of the fire. The excess vital energy would be stored in the energy stones at the bottom of the medicine cauldron. If the vital energy was really exhausted when the alchemy was about to be completed, the medicine cauldron would detect that the vital energy was insufficient and automatically use the vital energy stored in the energy stones to replenish the vital energy. However, this wasn't very useful for Lin Yi, unless he was concocting a pill that was beyond his level, and he didn't have enough pure qi to supply and maintain the concoction. Only then would he use the energy stones to make up for it. From this point of view, Han Jingjing's design was still useful. The medicinal herbs in the medicine cauldron began to change little by little under the control of the alchemy fire produced by the vital qi. This process was slow and gentle. If it was an ordinary person, they would not be able to notice it at all. However, alchemists enjoyed this process the most. However, Lin Yi could not enjoy it. He did not know what was going on in the medicine cauldron. He was looking at the tablet next to it. As time passed, Lin Yi only needed to input pure vital qi. He did not need to think about anything else. On the screen, the countdown timer was slowly ticking. Finally, with the last crisp hum, the alchemy was finally over. Phew. Although the whole alchemy process was calm and there were no accidents, Lin Yi was still very nervous. After all, this was the first time he had used Shenlong's automatic medicine cauldron to refine a qi-gathering pill. That was 5 sets of ingredients. If he was blind, it would be too late for him to cry. After calming his mind and breathing a little more, Lin Yi stood up and opened the medicine cauldron in front of him. As soon as the lid was opened, a strong medicinal fragrance immediately spread throughout the jade space. Lin Yi only took a sniff and immediately felt refreshed, relaxed and happy. From the looks of it, it should be a success, right? Lin Yi looked into the medicine cauldron expectantly. Sure enough, there were 7 qi-gathering pills lying quietly inside, each one full and fragrant. Success. The quality of the qi-gathering pill was very high. It could be said that it was on par with the one he found in Zhang Liju's tomb. Lin Yi took one out and looked at it. It was indeed extraordinary. Jingjing, let's start taking it now. This thing. Although we don't have to eat it while it's hot, the earlier we take it, the faster our strength will increase. Lin Yi said to Han Jingjing, "In, let's eat it together." Han Jingjing also picked up a qi-gathering pill. "Oh, that's right, Jingjing. It's best if we take it separately. When the qi-amassing pill breaks through, our clothes might explode, so it won't be convenient for us." Lin Yi suddenly thought of this serious problem. "It's okay," Han Jingjing said indifferently. "Jingjing belongs to Big Brother Lin Yi. It doesn't matter if I see it." Could it be that Big Brother Lin Yi is afraid of Jingjing looking? That's not it. Lin Yi paused, but since Han Jingjing didn't care, Lin Yi didn't hesitate any longer. He closed the curtains and said to Han Jingjing, "If that's the case, why don't we take off our clothes? Otherwise, they'll explode too." "Okay." Han Jingjing nodded. Very quickly, she took off all her clothes and sat on the bed cross-legged. She didn't feel like there was anything wrong with it at all. On the other hand, Lin Yi was tempted. But this was the time to take the qi-gathering pill. Lin Yi quickly abandoned these thoughts and took off his clothes as well, but there was still a natural physiological reaction, and it made Lin Yi feel very awkward. After Han Jingjing glanced at it, she didn't continue to look. It seemed that Han Jingjing's willpower was much stronger than Lin Yi's. Lin Yi really didn't know how Han Jingjing's brain worked. At this time, Han Jingjing had already stuffed the qi-gathering pill into her mouth, and Lin Yi smiled bitterly. He wasn't willing to fall behind and took the qi-gathering pill. Lin Yi had taken the qi-gathering pill before, so when taking the qi-gathering pill, it was a walk in the park. Lin Yi could still endure the pain. This kind of energy would skyrocket in an instant. As long as he clenched his teeth, he could endure it. Han Jingjing, on the other hand, Looked like she was in pain, but she held on and didn't make a sound. It was just like when Linny helped her increase her strength. Han Jingjing was a very strong girl. Time passed slowly. Han Jingjing successfully broke through to the early stage of Heaven stage, and what made Linny a little regretful was that after taking this chi-gathering pill, he actually didn't break through to the peak of the late stage of Heaven stage. Instead, he was infinitely close to the Great Perfection realm, but there was still a gap. Although a little gap didn't affect Linny much, and the current Lin Yi could instantly kill the experts of the Great Perfection realm of Heaven stage, his own strength level was still a little imperfect. Jingjing, you continue to take it. In theory, after you take 7 more chi-gathering pills, your strength should be equal to mine. You take it slowly. I will refine some more, Lin Yi said to Han Jingjing. Now there were only 5 left, and Han Jingjing still needed 2 more, so Lin Yi had to continue to refine pills. Then I'll have to trouble big brother Lin Yi. Han Jingjing nodded. What trouble do I have? If I didn't have your cauldron, it would be hard, but now alchemy is simply a piece of cake for me. Lin Yi smiled and said, this is the first time I realized that alchemy can be so easy. Han Jingjing was praised by Lin Yi, and she seemed very happy. Her little face blushed, and she suddenly said, big brother Lin Yi, hug. Lin Yi was slightly stunned, but he saw that in Han Jingjing's eyes, besides joy, there wasn't too complicated a color of desire, so he went over and hugged Han Jingjing. On the other hand, Lin Yi himself was quite uncomfortable, so he quickly put her down after hugging her, and then turned around, intending to concentrate on alchemy. Time slowly passed. Han Jingjing continued to take the chi-gathering pill, and Lin Yi continued to refine pills. When Han Jingjing took the last chi-gathering pill, she was already an expert of the late stage of Heaven stage. Although she was an expert who achieved it quickly, her strength was real. Chapter 3479. Lin Yi hesitated for a moment, but still took out 4 of them, 3 for Han Jingjing and 1 for himself. Lin Yi planned to break through to the peak late phase of Heaven class in one go. Otherwise, Lin Yi's heart would always feel that it wasn't perfect. And for Han Jingjing, 3 pills would also be enough for her to smoothly break through to the peak of Heaven class. Lin Yi planned to bring Han Jingjing along to Heaven class island. Han Jingjing could become Lin Yi's most powerful helper. Because Lin Yi only took 1 pill, his breakthrough speed was faster than Han Jingjing's. This time, Lin Yi finally succeeded in breaking through to the peak late phase of Heaven class. Although, from Lin Yi's perspective, it wasn't much different from before, he still felt very satisfied in his heart. Once upon a time, this was Lin Yi's ultimate goal. The peak late phase of Heaven class was the realm that Lin Yi dreamed of, but now, it was easily achieved. Lin Yi didn't think that the final promotion would be so smooth. It could be said that these were the few levels that Lin Yi had the easiest to break through. Of course, if it was someone else, it might be the most difficult level to break through. But Lin Yi broke through easily, thanks to Kong Ming Ming and Right Coiling Tiger. Without them, there wouldn't be the current Lin Yi. And Han Jingjing also broke through to the peak late phase of Heaven class. At this point, Lin Yi still had 10 chi-gathering pills left. If these pills were given to Wang Xinyan, she should be able to break through smoothly. Because before the peak late phase of Earth class, she could rely on Lin Yi to help her level up. Wang Xinyan was very happy to see Lin Yi back, but after Lin Yi came back, he went to Han Jingjing's bedroom and stayed there for many days. There was no movement, and Wang Xinyan was finally a little worried. He asked Han Xiaoqiao when he was in school. He said that he didn't know, the two never came out before, and so Xinyan couldn't help but go to Han Jingjing's house to see if something was wrong with Lin Yi and Han Jingjing. Han Xiaoqiao, the bookworm, didn't know anything at all, so Xinyan decided to take a look for herself. At this time, Lin Yi and Han Jingjing had just broken through. Han Jingjing also became a peak late-stage Heaven rank expert and was very excited. She couldn't help throwing herself into Lin Yi's embrace. Big brother Lin Yi, you are so amazing. Xinyan, on the other hand, had just pushed the door open when she saw the scene in front of her, and how naked Lin Yi and Han Jingjing were. Xinyan's face reddened at Han Jingjing's words. I didn't see anything. I'll go first, Xinyan said to herself. Lin Yi wasn't someone like that. Why was he so obsessed after playing with Han Jingjing for so many days? This Han Jingjing, didn't she know that Lin Yi had other things to do? She kept pestering Lin Yi, saying that Lin Yi was amazing, but Lin Yi hadn't touched her even after living with her for so long. Was it because he was worried about Kong Mingming? But it couldn't be. Even if he was worried before, it wasn't a problem now. Why did Lin Yi go to Han Jingjing's place first? Why did he hug her at night and not do anything? Was it because she wasn't proactive enough? Or was it because she wasn't attractive enough? Xinyan was in a dilemma. Wait a minute, Xinyan sis. You come too. Han Jingjing said seriously. We're just missing you now. Xinyan was in a dilemma when she heard Han Jingjing's words. She flinched a little. Han Jingjing wanted her to join? Wasn't that the three of them? Xinyan couldn't understand. How did the pure and innocent Jingjing become like this? Did she learn bad things? I don't want to. You guys continue. Xinyan stuttered and wanted to escape. Wait a minute. Xinyan sis, we're all done. We're just missing you. Han Jingjing said, although the process might be a little painful, it's also because you can be with Lin Yi bro forever. Don't you want to? Xinyan's face was as red as a tomato, and her breathing was uneven. She took Han Jingjing's words as a hint. Xinyan sis, come quickly. I'll be there if I grit my teeth. Han Jingjing called. Then, okay. Xinyan was successfully bewitched by Han Jingjing. She closed the door and gritted her teeth. I'll take off my clothes too? In. Han Jingjing nodded and said, of course I have to take it off. Then take it off. Xinyan gritted her teeth and quickly took off her clothes. She thought that Lin Yi had seen her naked during the military training, so what was wrong with taking it off now? She'd already decided to give it to Lin Yi, so what was there to hesitate about? Lin Yi, on the other hand, was dumbfounded. He didn't expect Xinyan to move so fast, but judging from her expression, she must have misunderstood something. Lin Yi didn't believe that Han Jingjing wouldn't be able to tell that this girl was doing it on purpose. Xinyan, put on your clothes first. Your situation is different from Jingjing's. Lin Yi said helplessly. Xinyan paused, and her face paled. So Lin Yi didn't like her after all. Why else could Han Jingjing do it, but she couldn't? Xinyan didn't care about her shyness anymore. She puffed up her chest and looked at Lin Yi. If she can do it, so can I. Why can't I? She has the chant, so she's at Sky Class late phase peak. But you don't, so I can't do it for you. I'll have to wait until you have the chant as well before I can do it for you. Lin Yi explained. Do it? Xinyan froze as she stared at Lin Yi and Han Jingjing. You guys, are you trying to increase your strength? Yeah, what else do you think we're doing, Xinyan sis? Han Jingjing said innocently. Then, why do you need to take off your clothes to do it? Xinyan was confused. It's very painful to level up after using the Qi gathering pill. You'll feel very hot, and your clothes will burn to ashes. Han Jingjing said, to save clothes, we take them off. Xinyan blushed as she subconsciously covered her chest. Why didn't you say so earlier? Chapter 3480. Stupid Jingjing, you're making fun of me. Xinyan reached out to hit Han Jingjing, only to expose herself again. She didn't care if she was exposed or not, and sat on the bed. Then, are you all Sky Class late phase peak full circle masters now? Yes, Lin Yi nodded. Xinyan, I'm preparing to raise you to Sky Class late phase peak perfection as well. Many things have happened recently. Let's put on our clothes first and talk. Lin Yi felt a little awkward now. Just wear a shirt. It's not like you haven't seen it before. Xinyan didn't care anymore and didn't think too much. All right. Lin Yi and Han Jingjing put on their clothes as well. They were at home anyway, so they didn't feel like outsiders. With that, Lin Yi told Xinyan everything that happened recently, including Xiaoka and Armadillo, as well as the inheritors. You're saying that you're going to Sky Class Island with me and Jingjing? Xinyan asked, shocked. Jingjing is my helper, and I want to bring her along. I'm worried about your body, so I want to keep you by my side. Plus, I'm used to having you by my side. Lin Yi nodded solemnly. Xinyan was happy that Lin Yi said that. She was one of the most important people to him now. But after a while, she still asked, then Lingshan, Sun Jingyi, and Shirhan, aren't you going to bring them? Lingshan is the person in charge of the investigation department now. She'll be in charge of the Cultivators Association Alliance here. Jingyi's arts and strength are different from ours, and I can't help her improve, so she can't go. As for Shirhan, she's a celebrity. She has her own career, Lenny said. Plus, it's not like we can't come back. It's over. We can come back, and we can also bring them over. Also, Wu Qintian's lackeys. I'm planning on bringing them over. Of course, the premise was, I can stand firm on Heaven Stage Island. Although Lenny could summon the wind and summon the rain in the secular world and sweep through the ancient sects, that was all. Heaven Island was full of unknowns. The weakest should be at the peak of the late phase of the Heaven rank. Even if Lenny could fight those at a higher rank, he might not be able to handle them. Therefore, Lin Yi did not speak too slowly because everything was still unknown. As a result, Lin Yi didn't speak too confidently. Everything was still unknown. It was only then that Xin Yan realized that the day was getting closer and closer. Was everything about to end? Or a new beginning? I believe you can do it, Xin Yan said firmly. On the train, it was like a promise from their previous lives. Their first meeting was destined to be a lifelong love. Xin Yan wasn't a sentimental person, but sometimes she had to believe in the wonders of fate. Bits and pieces of her memories with Lin Yi flooded her mind, and the first time she stayed in the villa appeared in front of her eyes. Shu carried her and kidnapped her to the villa. From that moment on, she was destined to be inseparable from Lin Yi, right? I'll ask Aunt Xing again and see if she has any ways to help you increase your strength. The Heaven Stage trial is right around the corner, and Heaven Stage Island is about to open. If you can't increase your strength, you won't have the right then. Lin Yi said as he called Aunt Xing. You've been quite famous recently. Aunt Xing is in the Ice Palace, and I've heard a lot about you. Aunt Xing said with a smile on the other side of the phone. Aunt Xing, please don't make fun of me. You're a senior. You can say that you've watched me grow up step by step. Lin Yi was a junior in front of Aunt Xi. He would never forget the help Aunt Xing had given him back then. What you said back then was true. A hero shouldn't be afraid of a weak background. I'm afraid that the one who's struggling the most right now is Bingtang. Is she going to do what she promised you? Aunt Xing didn't think much of Lin Yi and Bingtang's relationship before. After all, no matter how much she liked Lin Yi was just an outsider, and Bingtang was the one she watched grow up with. But ever since she knew that Lin Yi was that person's descendant, Aunt Xing's attitude towards Lin Yi changed, and she treated him as her closest junior. It's just a line from a song. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Aunt Xing, the rock candy thing was just a joke back then, and I didn't take it seriously. You can tell her that she doesn't need to worry about it. Lin Yi couldn't say that he didn't have any feelings for Bingtang. Conquering this kind of cold girl would give him a psychological satisfaction, but since she wasn't willing, Lin Yi couldn't force her. Besides, Lin Yi's mind was now on Heaven Stage Island, and he had temporarily put aside his personal feelings. When the Heaven Stage Island's matters were over, and he had nothing else to worry about, that was the time to talk about love. Lin Yi was still young, and he had a lot of time. Plus, his girlfriends were all Heaven Stage masters, and their looks were forever preserved, and their lives were infinitely extended. The endless years ahead were the time for him to enjoy. Our Ice Palace is a place that keeps its promises. If we say something, we must do it, especially as the palace master. We can't go back on our words. Aunt Xing paused and said, Let's not talk about this. Lily, why did you call this time? It's still about the thing I told you about my friend, Wang Xinyan. Have you found her practitioner's arts yet? Lin Yi asked. I did, but I haven't gotten it yet. Aunt Xing said, That practitioner's scripture is kept in the Ice Palace's treasury, and only Bingtang can open it right now. There's no one else who can. In the Ice Palace, Bingtang's words were absolute, unlike the other ancient sects where the Grand Elder was above everyone else. The Ice Palace was different, so Lin Yi could understand why Aunt Xing said this. Then, didn't you tell Bingtang? Lin Yi asked. Chapter 3481. Oh. Lin Yi thought of something abruptly. Yes, the Ice Heart pill. This was a level 3 pill that Lin Yi couldn't make before, but now Lin Yi could do it easily. Lin Yi knew what to trade for the sugar. All right, I'll go there in 2 days. Okay, Aunt Xing will wait for you. Aunt Qing nodded. After hanging up, Lin Yi told Xin Yan and Han Jingjing he planned on going to the ice palace after the pill was made. Xin Yan and Han Jingjing, naturally, were very supportive. Lin Yi kept his word. He was going to start making the pill right now. Lin Yi had 4 portions of the ingredients for the ice heart pill, all given to him by Right Coiling Tiger. He gave Lin Yi 12 portions of ingredients for a level 3 pill, 4 portions of Grand Recovery pills, 4 portions of ice heart pills, and 4 portions of Qi Gathering pills. The materials for the Qi Gathering pill had already been used by Lin Yi, and all that was left was the Grand Recovery pill and the ice heart pill. Lin Yi planned on making them all in one go. The Grand Recovery pill was very useful as well. It wasn't very useful to Lin Yi, but it was something that could save Han Jingjing and Xin Yan's lives. With the experience from last time, Lin Yi was very familiar with the process this time. Lin Yi followed the instructions and put in 4 portions of the Ice Heart Jade Bone Pills ingredients before pressing the confirm button. Beep beep. The tablet emitted 2 long and clear beeps, and then the tablet displayed. Alchemy script has been generated. According to the automatic analysis of the weight in the medicine cauldron, 4 sets of ingredients have been put into this alchemy. The estimated time of alchemy is 2 hours and 52 minutes. Estimated number of pills produced is 5. Less than 3 hours wasn't a long time, but the number of pills produced on the cauldron disappointed Lin Yi a little. There were only 5 pills. He'd used 5 portions of Qi Gathering pills before, and he'd made 7 of them. Of course, the conditions of each pill were different, so the results of refining were also different. This was already better than the others, so Lin Yi only felt disappointed for a moment, and then he began to refine the pills. Lin Yi cleared his mind of distracting thoughts and sat cross-legged, circulating the art of dragon mastery. He quickly followed the instructions and infused the Zhenqi in his body into the godly armament cauldron. The cauldron let out a crisp hum, and the tablet beside it also showed the words starting refinement, warming up. Beside it was a countdown timer. Unsurprisingly, with the last clear buzzing sound, the alchemy was finally over. As soon as the lid of the cauldron was opened, a rich medicinal fragrance along with a wave of cold air rushed out. Although it was hot air, it caused people to involuntarily shiver. This should be the special effect of the Ice Heart Jade Bone Pill. It was truly an incomparably cold pill. Except for people with special constitutions, ordinary people really didn't have the luck to enjoy it. When the cold air dissipated, Lin Yi looked into the cauldron and saw that there were indeed 5 Ice Heart Jade Bone Pills inside, and the quality was the same as the previous Qi Gathering pills. All of them were of the highest quality. Of course, 5 was already a lot. Previously, Rock Candy only asked for 1. After the successful refinement, Lin Yi didn't stop. Instead, he continued to prepare to refine the Great Recover pill. Similarly, he put in 4 portions of ingredients for the Great Recover pill, but what Lin Yi didn't expect was that the estimated number of pills produced on the screen was actually 6. There were also 4 portions, but there were 5 Ice Heart Jade Bone pills and 6 Great Recover pills. It was really a little magical. But think about it. These pill recipes might not be accurate when they were first made. They were all based on the alchemist's repeated experiments. Some recipes might have a little more than 1 portion, and some might have a little less than 1. There was no difference if it was just 1 pill, but the difference would be obvious if they were made together. It was the same process as before, and after 3 hours of refinement, the Great Recover pill came out. This was Lin Yi's 3rd official refinement, and he didn't expect it to be this easy. It was all thanks to Han Jingjing's automatic alchemy cauldron. What kind of high-end thing is this? Why is it so advanced? Xin Yan couldn't help but ask after Lin Yi was done. This is Han Jingjing's invention, the automatic alchemy cauldron. It's very easy to make pills intelligently. Lin Yi explained. Actually, other than leveling up, Jingjing and I have been studying pill refinement. I see. Xin Yan's face was a little red. She was a little embarrassed for her impure thoughts. Lin Yi was here for serious business. He wasn't here for a secret affair with Han Jingjing like she was imagining. It wasn't right of her to think like that. She shouldn't make wild guesses in the future. All right, since the pill is done, I'll be heading to the Ice Palace now. Lin Yi didn't want to waste time. Since the 5-element sect had sent out a notice for everyone to sign up, it meant that the Sky class test was right around the corner. Who knew when they'd gather everyone? Okay, Linny bro, be careful, Han Jingjing said. Linny, you can stay for a few more days. You haven't seen Xiao Xiao in a while, Xin Yan said. She wasn't familiar with Xiao Xiao and didn't even know her. Meng Yao and Yu Shu told her everything about Xiao Xiao, but she knew about the relationship between Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao. Okay, it's fine. We'll see each other after the test starts. Lin Yi didn't really mind. If he stayed for a few more days, the test would start right away, and Xin Yan wouldn't be able to qualify. This time, Lin Yi chose to ride the purple thunderbolt beast to the ice palace. One night, Lin Yi arrived at Snowfrost Town. Since Lin Yi had just been here a while ago, he wasn't that impressed by the scenery. But Lin Yi was still a Sky Class mid-phase back then, and now he was a Sky Class full mastery. The difference between now and now was really impressive. Thank you Coiling Tiger Right. Thank you Kong Ming Ming. Thank you Elder Shinshin. Ice Spirit Inn. Lin Yi walked into the lobby of the inn, smiling as he greeted Shopkeeper Li, who was arranging letters. Shopkeeper Li, we meet again. Ah, Master Lin Yi, you're here. Manager Li paused, not expecting Lin Yi to visit the Ice Palace again in such a short amount of time. Yeah, looks like you're not surprised this time, Lin Yi smiled. Chapter 3482. He could tell that Lin Yi was quite easygoing with the people from the Ice Palace. He wasn't as nervous as before. It's nothing. I'm here to find your Ice Palace girl, Rock Candy. I want to marry her. Lin Yi asked. Huh. Shopkeeper Li was stunned. What? Marry? Marry that Rock Candy chick? Shopkeeper Li didn't know what to say. Did Lin Yi and Rock Candy still have an engagement? At his level, he obviously didn't know the inside story, but Elder Li didn't dare to ask. He could only say carefully, Hero Lin, that, I'll tell the Ice Palace Master the truth. What do you mean? Lin Yi nodded. Although he was joking, he really wanted to kill Rock Candy's pride. With that in mind, Lin Yi turned to Shopkeeper Li and said faintly, Not bad, just tell her that. Okay. Shopkeeper Li nodded helplessly. He didn't have the right to argue with Lin Yi, so he could only follow Lin Yi's words and tell the truth. Anyway, even if Rock Candy blamed him, it would be Lin Yi's doing. It had nothing to do with him. Shopkeeper Li took out the satellite phone from the drawer and picked it up. Very quickly, Rock Candy's voice came from the other side. Shopkeeper Li, what's the matter? Palace Master, Hero Lin Yi came to our Ice Spirit Inn. He said, He's here to marry you. What do you think? Shopkeeper Li asked carefully. Lin Yi, marry me? Rock Candy suddenly felt embarrassed. Last time, Lin Yi didn't mention this. She thought that Lin Yi would let it go, but she didn't expect that Lin Yi would come to the Ice Palace just to talk about this. This made Bingtang a little indignant, but she remembered that she had promised Lin Yi that when he had the strength of Heaven Stage, Peak Late Stage, or become a Mystic Stage First-Level Alchemist, she would be his little mistress. Bingtang didn't know how to quibble. Ice Palace was a sect that kept its promises, but those were just Bingtang's words in anger. They didn't count. But now, Lin Yi made a special trip here. What was she going to do about it? However, after hesitating for a moment, Rock Candy still said, What's his current strength? Are there any Great Perfection Heaven Rank Peak Late Phase? This, I'm not sure either. Shopkeeper Li blushed with shame. But he was able to instantly kill a Peak Late Stage Heaven Rank Master. It should be true. That's not necessarily the case. Lin Yi is an expert in fighting those who are stronger than him. I made a promise with him back then. When he has the strength of Heaven Rank Peak Late Stage, or becomes a Mystic Stage First-Level Alchemist, I'll be his wife. Above Heaven Rank Peak Late Stage, only Great Perfection, or Heavenly Tao level, are you asking him? Bingtang didn't believe that Lin Yi was. Last time, Lin Yi only had the strength of Heaven Rank Middle Phase. She was glad that she was smart. Fortunately, she had set a limit on his strength level and didn't say that he could fight against any experts. This, Shopkeeper Li carefully looked at Lin Yi. He didn't dare to offend Bingtang, but he didn't dare to offend Lin Yi even more. This is really a trap. But Shopkeeper Li didn't dare to have any complaints. He could only smile bitterly at Lin Yi, wanting to say something but hesitating. It's about my strength, right? Lin Yi's eyes and ears were sharp. He was a heaven-rank great perfection master after all. If he couldn't hear the conversation between shopkeeper Li and Bingtang, then he would be too weak. It's fine. I can verify it's true. As he said that, Linny started chanting and revealed his heaven-rank peak late-stage peak perfection strength. This powerful aura made shopkeeper Li's legs cramp. Although Linny didn't do anything to him, he still lowered his head subconsciously. He curled up and said to Bingtang with a trembling voice, "Palace Master, Hero Lin, he really is a heaven-rank peak late-stage peak perfection master." What? Bingtang didn't believe that Lin Yi could actually break through heaven-rank peak in such a short time. How many days had it been? But she knew that Shopkeeper Li wouldn't lie to her. Shopkeeper Li was an old member of Ice Palace. How could he be in cahoots with Lin Yi? So, Ice Palace hesitated. She was a little scared and retreated. "Tell Lin Yi that I'm not feeling well and can't go. Let him stay in the inn now." This, Shopkeeper Li smiled bitterly and raised his head to look at Lin Yi. However, Lin Yi took his phone. Let me say it. Lin Yi didn't want to make things difficult for Shopkeeper Li, so he picked up the phone personally. "Bingtang girl, why aren't you coming? Are you going to act shamelessly?" I'm not feeling well. How is it?" Bingtang snorted. "There are times when a cultivator is feeling unwell? Even a heaven-rank master can get sick?" Lin Yi asked curiously. I. Bingtang's face instantly turned red. Indeed, how could a heaven-rank master get sick? Her excuse was really. But Bingtang suddenly had an idea. She clenched her teeth and said to Lin Yi angrily, "Heaven-rank master, I'm also a girl. Can't I feel unwell for a few days every month?" "Ugh, that's fine." Lin Yi paused for a moment but teased. "All right then. I'm here to give you the Ice Heart Jade Bone pill. I'll come and get it after your aunt leaves. If it takes too long, I'll go back first. I still have things to do." What? Ice Heart Jade Bone pill? Bingtang was shocked and said anxiously, "You successfully made it? But I'll be leaving first. You should rest well. It's better for a girl to rest well at this time." Lin Yi said, Today is my last day. I'm almost done. Wait for me. I'll go over now." Bingtang's breathing quickened. She was really too excited. She had been looking forward to this pill for many years. "But I'm only giving it to my little wife." "Are you?" Lin Yi asked with a smile. I am." Bingtang clenched her teeth and said anxiously. "Oh, all right then. I'll give it to you. I'll wait for you at the inn. We can consummate our marriage tonight. You've just finished, so you can't get pregnant." Lin Yi said. You. Bingtang was so angry that she hung up. He immediately flew out of the training room and rushed down the mountain. Hee. Lin Yi smiled and shook his head. He didn't mind at all and returned the satellite phone to Shopkeeper Li. "Hero Lin, is the Ice Palace Master coming?" "Then rest for a moment." Shopkeeper Li took the phone. Seeing that Lin Yi had settled it himself, he let out a sigh of relief. At least he didn't have to be in the middle. Recommend Fishman's new book, Top Grade Cultivation Master, Defending His Father's Name, Protecting the Goddess, An Unusual Path of Cultivation. Xiao family's playboy, Xiao Chen, was abandoned by his family when his father was nowhere to be found. His fiancée became the mistress, and Xiao Chun became his fiancée's manservant. The saddest thing was that not only did he not have a salary, but he also had to pay rent. But it didn't matter. Even a poor youth had his spring, who asked him to become a cultivator. Missy, inherited princess disease, specializes in male cultivators. Master Xiao, inherited traditional Chinese medicine, specializes in treating princess disease. Jean Bebe, inherited rich bay, I'll play with you until you break down. Lin Kuer, inherited beef noodles, do you guys want it? Lu Zhiming, yes, check. Epsilon, hashtag, inherited princess disease. Why am I always the one who gets hurt? Tender 3. Chapter 3483. All right, you don't have to care about me anymore. Lin Yi waved his hand. Go do what you need to do. Then, Lin Yi walked out of the passenger station and waited for Crystal Candy. Shopkeeper Li nodded and began to busy himself with his own matters. Lin Yi didn't wait long before he saw Crystal Candy sprinting over. She didn't look like she was having her period at all. She was as agile as she could be. Crystal Candy saw Lin Yi's smile from afar and was a bit pissed. She glared at him and reached out her hand, saying fiercely, "Where's my pill? You want to take it with just a promise?" Lin Yi smiled faintly at Crystal Candy. "What else do you want? I've been helping you take care of your girlfriend for so long. If it weren't for me, she'd be dead." Crystal Candy had thought of an excuse before she came, planning to use Xiao Xiao to convince Lin Yi. "That's your sister. It's what you should do," Lin Yi said. "Sister? She's my junior sister." At that point, Crystal Candy realized that Lin Yi was teasing her, meaning that she was also Lin Yi's little lit. Crystal Candy glared at Lin Yi. "I'll do what I promised you. It's boring for me to be alone anyway, and I need to find a partner in the future. Xiao Xiao and I get along quite well, so you can take advantage of her when the time comes. But, you know about the inheritor thing, I have to maintain my virginity, so..." Virginity request, who asked for it? Lin Yi felt that this request was a bit weird. Before, Lin Yi's strength was too low to ask this question, and he didn't dare to, but with Lin Yi's current strength, he had nothing to worry about. "Of course it's the 5 Elements sect," Crystal Candy said. "Elder Xinshan requested it. Him? If he doesn't maintain it, what will he do?" Lin Yi said. Once upon a time, Patriarch Xinshan was an existence that Lin Yi looked up to. But now, even if Lin Yi stood in front of him, he would still maintain his composure. Patriarch Xinshan might not even be as powerful as him. "If you don't maintain it..." Rock Candy was slightly stunned. In the past, she had always listened to the 5 Elements sect. Even though she was so powerful, she had never questioned the things that everyone knew. It wasn't that he didn't want to question it. Instead, she felt that the 5 Elements sect was the strongest existence in the world, and that even the Ice Palace's palace master would not be able to contend against it. Whatever the 5 Elements sect said was the truth. But now, however, Lin Yi said that if he didn't maintain it, what would he do? Yes, if he didn't maintain it, what could Patriarch Xinshan do? In the past, no one dared to question it. But now, such a person had appeared. He looked at Lin Yi. Suddenly, Crystal Candy was a little dazed. This thin figure suddenly became tall and straight. Once upon a time, when he was in the Ice Palace and carried Xiao Xiao on his back, Crystal Candy had never put him in her eyes. Even the joke of the little mistress was just a joke. It was just a joke. But now, Crystal Candy suddenly realized that Lin Yi had become a part of the ancient level, the only existence that could contend against Patriarch Xinshan. Sometimes, one's impression of a person would change in an instant. It was the same for Bingtang now. She suddenly realized that Lin Yi wasn't that despicable after all. Instead, he was very heroic. This was the spirit a practitioner should have. In the past, everyone said so, and I heard that only by maintaining one's virginity can one open the heavenly island. Apart from that, there is no other way. Crystal Candy said, "I told you the specifics before. I'm not sure either. 5 Elements sect won't tell me. However, if you insist on having something with me before this, then you better not have anything with Xiao Xiao. After all, this is a big event in the ancient level. I don't want you to destroy this matter because of your selfish desires, although you have the strength to contend against Patriarch Xinshan." Huh. Lin Yi was slightly stunned. What did Crystal Candy mean? Actually, Crystal Candy was a little surprised when she said this because she realized that she didn't hate Lin Yi anymore. On the contrary, she was happy that she could find a partner like Lin Yi. Thinking about it carefully, Crystal Candy didn't know many male cultivators. They were either sect masters or young sect masters. However, these people were very scheming. Crystal Candy didn't like them either. On the contrary, she realized that Lin Yi wasn't that hateful along the way. Looking at the problem from another angle, she realized that fulfilling that promise wasn't that much of a conflict. However, to say that she fell in love with Lin Yi, Crystal Candy didn't think that she had it yet. She just didn't reject it, That was all. However, Crystal Candy's thoughts were very conservative. Wasn't the marriage in the ancient times a promise? The man and woman didn't know each other much. At least, she was quite satisfied with Lin Yi's current strength. Nothing. I'm just saying that if you want it, forget it if you don't. Crystal Candy said, since Ice Palace has Xiao Xiao as an inheritor, she will get a fixed position as a sect master. The sect master or grand elder can participate in the Heavenly Island Conference. So, it doesn't matter if I'm an inheritor or not. Oh? In other words, as long as there is an inheritor, the sect master or grand elder can participate in the Heavenly Island Conference. Linny thought of something and asked, yes, but there is a condition. It must be a master with the strength of the peak late stage of Heaven Realm. Crystal Candy said, I feel that I'm about to break through. Oh, there is such a restriction. Linny nodded after hearing it and said, do you need me to help you refine a chi-gathering pill so that you can advance after eating it? Actually, what Linny thought before was that if every inheritor's sect had a fixed quota for promotion, then wouldn't Boss Bai also have it? Boss Bai, as the other sect master of Five Elements sect, was definitely not strong enough, so he couldn't participate. However, if he passed the position of sect master to Yang Ming, then it would be fine. Therefore, there was still a loophole in this. If Yang Ming didn't have the entrance ticket of the map fragment, he could still find a way to participate. However, if Shinshin Ancestor added the restriction of being the sect master for more than a year, it wouldn't work. This guy was targeting Lin Yi, so Lin Yi couldn't do anything. Of course, Lin Yi could use force, but Lin Yi's purpose was to go to Heavenly Island. If they really broke up, it wouldn't be good for him to get in the way. You eat the chi-gathering pill? Crystal Candy was slightly stunned. She looked at Lin Yi and asked, I heard that you were searching for materials to refine the chi-gathering pill a while ago. So it was for this? Chapter 3484. How else do you think I leveled up? A few days ago, I was still in the middle stage of Heaven stage, and in just a few days, I'm at the peak of the late stage of Heaven stage, great perfection. Linny didn't hide it, and said it directly. There was no need to hide anything. I remember telling you a long time ago that although you can keep leveling up by eating chi-gathering pills, you can eat them all the way to the peak of the late stage of Heaven rank. However, you won't be able to reach the true peak of Heaven rank by eating chi-gathering pills. Rock Candy said, these two great perfection have some essential differences. You may not be able to advance to Heaven Dao in your lifetime. You heard this too, right? Who said that taking chi-gathering pill can't advance to Heaven Dao? Moreover, when I was in Earth stage, I took chi-gathering pill and leveled up all the way. I also relied on myself to level up naturally without taking the pill. Didn't I also level up? Linny asked, besides, who has broken through Heaven Dao? Who knows how to break through? Since no one knows, what's the point of rumors? Maybe even if we go to Heaven Rank Island, we won't be able to break through immediately. Heaven Rank Island is just a level higher than the ancient level. There might be people in the Tao of Heaven there, but even if we go there, we might not be able to break through smoothly. This, Rock Candy was speechless by Lin Yi. Thinking about what Linny said, it was not unreasonable. Yes, Heaven Dao, no one has broken through. Taking chi-gathering pill can't break through, according to the normal logic, but Lin Yi broke this logic again. Rock Candy didn't think that Linny was lying. After all, Lin Yi wasn't a third-grade alchemist before. How could he have so many chi-gathering pills? He must have broken through naturally. That would break the curse of not being able to advance after taking chi-gathering pill. So, at this moment, she was a little moved. Although she had already touched the barrier of the Great Perfection Realm, it was only a touch. If she wanted to break through, it would be impossible without a fortuitous encounter. Some people might be stuck here for a lifetime. With Lin Yi's situation as a reference, Rock Candy was silent along the way. After a while, she said, I'll take the Ice Heart Jade Bone pill first. If I successfully obtain the inheritance, then there won't be any obstacles for me to level up. I'll be able to break through on my own. All right? Linny didn't insist. After all, not everyone thought the same as him. It was difficult for Rock Candy to change her deep-rooted thoughts. Moreover, Linny had the space of the Jade Pendant, but Rock Candy didn't. If something really happened to Rock Candy, she wouldn't be able to level up. Then Lin Yi would have committed a grave sin. Then, I'm going to take it? Rock Candy turned to look at Lin Yi. Okay, here you go. Lin Yi took out a box from his bosom and handed it to Rock Candy. Then, he said, it's here. You don't have to save it. If you don't comprehend the inheritance, just eat another one. Until you comprehend it. Rock Candy was slightly stunned. If you don't have one, you will eat another one? Do you think you have a lot of medicinal pills? Even if you are a level 3 alchemist, you can't say you have a 100% success rate, right? From what I know, the difficulty of refining the Ice Heart Jade pill is even higher than the Qi Gathering pill. More or less, Lin Yi thought. Not 100%, but 125%. With Han Jingjing's modified cauldron, Lin Yi could refine the Ice Heart Jade pill with a 125% success rate. One set of ingredients would produce 125 portions. Rock Candy was a little surprised, but she didn't doubt it. You refined too? Then, I should leave one for the descendants of the Ice Palace. I shouldn't be so selfish. I am the Palace Master of the Ice Palace. I have to do something for the Ice Palace. The future Palace Master might need it too. Take a look first. Lin Yi pointed at the box and said, Oh, Rock Candy opened the small box in her hands and was instantly stunned. Inside the box, there were 5 Ice Heart Jade pills. Not only that, this Ice Heart Jade Bone pill was also a high-quality pill. On the surface of each pill, there were actually circles of pill halo. Rock Candy was the Palace Master of the Ice Palace. She was very knowledgeable and naturally knew what this meant. Even if it was the same type of medicinal pill, there was a world of difference between those with pill halo and those without pill halo. Pill halo meant that it was the best of this kind of dan. Its effect was far from what ordinary goods could compare to. This was a rare item that could only be encountered by chance. Even the most powerful alchemist could not guarantee that every dan could be refined into a pill halo. But Lin Yi did it. Every single one of these 5 elixirs were of the same quality. They were all of the highest quality. This made Rock Candy look at the medicinal pills in her hands in shock. After a while, she raised her head and looked at Lin Yi in shock. Your alchemy level is so high, you can actually refine 5 of them. You have so many ingredients for the Ice Heart Jade pill? And the Hidden You family gave me 4 portions. I collected one myself. Lin Yi didn't tell the truth. After all, Rock Candy only said that she would be his little wife. She didn't take it for real. Lin Yi still couldn't open his heart to her. 5 portions. Can you really achieve a 100% success rate? Your alchemy level has already surpassed the 3rd level? Rock Candy's eyes widened. Her face flushed red. You can't have really reached the 1st level of the mystic class? I haven't tested it yet. Who knows? Lin Yi shrugged. However, with Han Jingjing's cauldron, refining higher-level medicinal pills shouldn't be a problem. All right, you've met my requirements. I agree to what I said before. I mean it. Rock Candy sighed and said lightly, Let's take it one step at a time. I didn't want to force you. I just saw that you're too arrogant, so I was joking with you. Lin Yi smiled. All right, go take it. Right. Does the Ice Palace still have the ingredients for the Ice Heart Jade pill? Since you feel that you should leave some for your descendants, I'll refine them all for you. Yes, it's in the Ice Palace's treasury. I'll take you there. You can make it yourself. There should be enough for 3 to 4 portions. Rock Candy said, That's great. I still have some that I collected myself. They aren't complete. Let's see if I can make a few more portions. Lin Yi was afraid that there would be a few more pills after he finished refining, so he said that he still had a few portions of incomplete ingredients. This way, Rock Candy wouldn't suspect anything. However, he was afraid that Rock Candy would ask him what the remaining ingredients were missing. Thus, Lin Yi didn't wait for her to speak and said, You're letting me into the treasury? Isn't it only the master of the Ice Palace who can enter? Chapter 3485. However, she was the only one who knew what her true thoughts were. Haha, all right. I'll concoct the pill inside and see what else the Ice Palace has. Lin Yi didn't think that Bingtang would ask him to go to the treasury without him even asking to see the manual. Wasn't this change a little too big? Go ahead. In Bingtong's heart, nothing was more important than the Ice Heart Jade Bone Pill. Since Lin Yi wanted to concoct a few more for the Ice Palace, then the Ice Palace would pay any price. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Things were going too smoothly, and he felt like there was no challenge. The two came to the entrance of the treasury, and Bingtang opened the door for Lin Yi to enter. She thought about it and said, "I'll ask Xiao Xiao to come with you. I'm going to take the pill, okay?" Lin Yi nodded. He did miss Xiao Xiao, but Bingtang didn't bring it up, so he didn't ask. Lin Yi found the ingredients for the Ice Heart Jade Bone Pill in the treasury, and he could gather 4 portions. In other words, he could still make 5 pills. But Lin Yi didn't divide the ingredients so finely. He put 4 portions of ingredients into the cauldron. As expected, after pressing the confirm button, the tablet made 2 clear beeps, and Lin Yi saw the tablet display. Concoction script generated. Based on the weight of the cauldron, this concoction will take 6 portions of ingredients. Estimated concoction time is 3 hours and 29 minutes. Please prepare your qi beforehand. Estimated number of pills will be 6. 6 pills. 6 pills from 4. 6 portions to less than 5. This was pretty good, but Lin Yi realized that the quality and quantity of ingredients were different, and the concoction time was different as well. Lin Yi sat cross-legged and started concocting. Not long later, the door to the treasury opened. The door was opened, and Xiao Xiao's excited voice sounded. "Lin Yi, honey. Xiao Xiao, I'm refining pills. You can play by yourself for a while." Only Lin Yi could speak when he infused his true qi into the pill. If it were anyone else, they would have failed the alchemy. Xiao Xiao jumped in fright. He immediately shut up and stuck out his tongue. "I'm sorry, I didn't know." "It's okay, we can talk," Lin Yi said with a smile. What kind of cauldron is this? It's so advanced, and it even has an LCD? Xiao Xiao knew that Lin Yi wouldn't lie to her. However, when he saw the cauldron in Lin Yi's hand, he immediately felt that it was very magical. "This is Han Jingjing's modified cauldron." Lin Yi told Xiao Xiao about Han Jingjing. "So, the medicinal cauldrons you sell are all modified by her. Then she is really a powerful person." Xiao Xiao really wanted to meet her in the future. "I really admire her," Xiao Xiao said from the bottom of her heart. "She can be Lin Yi Honey's helper, but Xiao Xiao can't. I really envy her." "Xiao Xiao, don't say that. You have your mission. Your mission is to open the Sky-class island. This is something you can't do without," Lin Yi said to her. "I want to go to the Sky-class island too. And I have to." "Oh, Lin Yi honey, you want to ascend to Sky Dao too?" Xiao Xiao was a little surprised. She knew that Lin Yi had a negative attitude towards this before. She didn't think that he would want to go today. "Because I have my reasons. One is because of you. Of the 7 heirs, other than that elder Tang from Snowy Valley, I don't have much contact with them. The others are pretty much the closest people to me. How could I not go?" Lin Yi smiled bitterly. "Plus, I have other reasons." Xiao Xiao's eyes widened. 7, 6. The rest is Tang Yun, sis. Xiao Xiao didn't say it. It seemed that Lin Yi didn't remember about Tang Yun yet. Naturally, she wouldn't say it out loud. "Oh my God, Lin Yi honey, you're so amazing. You even took over the heirs." "It's just a coincidence," Lin Yi said that, but he was a little doubtful. Was it really a coincidence? Lin Yi told Xiao Xiao about Yu Xiaoka and Armadillo, as well as what happened to him recently. The elixir was also successfully refined. Once it was out of the cauldron, the aroma filled the air. 6 Ice Heart Jade pills lay quietly in the cauldron. Oh my God, 6 pills at once? Xiao Xiao's eyes widened. She didn't know how to make pills, but she'd heard of it before. She'd never seen a refiner who could make Lu Mei's Ice Heart Jade Bone Pill in one go. "Yeah, this is all thanks to Han Jingjing," Lin Yi smiled. "You can make pills with this cauldron, but you have to keep it a secret." "Yeah, Xiao Xiao, of course, we'll keep it a secret. I'm not any worse than Shu." Xiao Xiao nodded. Lin Yi felt a little sad at the mention of Yushu. Everyone had left, but they'd meet again soon, right? Thinking of the reunion in the near future, Lin Yi's mood brightened up again. Lin Yi told her about Wang Xinyan, and naturally, Xiao Xiao was surprised by her physique. She started looking for manuals for Lin Yi as well. I remember that the manuals are all on that shelf. Senior Sister Rock Candy brought me here a couple of times, and I've looked for the arts here before. Xiao Xiao pointed at the last shelf. Oh, here. Linny suddenly remembered when he got here. What was the name of this manual? There were so many manuals here. How was he supposed to know what the senior from the Ice Palace practiced? And so Linny paused. Xiao Xiao, I forgot to ask Aunt Qing what it's called. Don't worry, I'll go ask for you. Xiao Xiao was about to leave the treasury when she heard the door creak. It was Crystal Candy. She'd come back. The appearance of the rock candy surprised Lin Yi. Did she finish eating it already? Lin Yi, on the other hand, wasn't doing any pill making. Instead, he was walking around with Xiao Xiao in front of the bookshelves, which surprised Rock Candy as well. Was Linny done? Or hadn't he started? Linny, you finished the pill? Rock Candy looked at Linny, surprised. Yeah, you finished too? Linny looked at Rock Candy, surprised. That fast? Yeah, that fast. I'm done. What about you? Rock Candy gently nodded, and then revealed her strength at the peak of the late peak of heaven rank, as if to prove her words, and then asked back. Chapter 3486. Part 1. Asking for votes. Lin Yi didn't think that Bingtang would break through in such a short time. This meant that she had successfully comprehended the inheritance, and she had touched the barrier of perfect mastery, so she broke through on her own as soon as the inheritance was completed. Bingtang, on the other hand, was even more shocked when she saw the 6 pills in Lin Yi's hands. She had wanted to show off to him how strong she was, breaking through to the same level as him in such a short time. She had caught up to him. But when she saw the 6 pills in Lin Yi's hands, Bingtang felt defeated. This Lin Yi was a monster. He made 6 pills in such a short time. What kind of speed was this? Wah wah wah. Senior Bingtang, Linny honey, you guys are so in sync. Huh? Don't tell me there's something going on? Xiao Xiao's eyes widened. Yeah, if I come back from Sky Class Island, I'll have to thank Xiao Xiao sis for taking care of me. Bingtang was a straightforward person, and although she blushed when she said it, she still said what she wanted to say. Oh, it can't be, right? Linny honey, you've already taken Senior Bingtang's little sister? Xiao Xiao cried out excitedly. Senior Bingtang's little sister? What kind of title was that? Bingtang was speechless, but this was indeed a mess. Let's not talk about this, Linny. How did you make pills so fast? You didn't do it on purpose, did you? You want me to worship you? Bingtang couldn't believe it. It was fine if the pill was fast, but the success rate was low. But Lin Yi was not only fast, but his success rate was also incomparably high. This was really strange. Senior Bingtang, Linny honey doesn't need to lie to you. I saw him do it with my own eyes, and there's still heat and fragrance from the process. With that, Xiao Xiao pointed at the place where Lin Yi did it. Rock Candy was a heaven stage expert. How sharp was her 6th sense? She didn't notice it before. She was shocked by Lin Yi as soon as she entered the door, so she ignored these small details. Now that she carefully examined it, it was indeed so. Plus, she didn't think that Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao would lie to her about something like this. However, she still said, Lin Yi, I have some ingredients for the Great Recover Pill. Can you help me refine it too? Xiao Xiao and I, 2 girls, are going to participate in the Heaven Rank trial. It's so dangerous. What if something goes wrong? At that time, you will be the one who will feel sorry for him. Why don't you work a little harder and help me refine it? Are you testing me? Linny smiled bitterly. Tell me, how many do you want to refine? I have 10 sets of materials. You just need to refine 8 pills for me. After Rock Candy finished speaking, she also felt that it was a little funny. If it was any other alchemist, being able to refine 5 pills was already very impressive. Linny had made 8 pills, and that was already a small number. All right, I'll make 10 for you, Linny said. Do you want to start now? Why don't you and Xiao Xiao wait for me outside? What? Xiao Xiao can watch you refine pills, and I'm affecting you? Rock Candy was a little unhappy. She accepted Lin Yi in her heart, so she treated Lin Yi as one of her own, and Linny still had to be on guard against her. This made her very unhappy. After all, she thought it was him. Linny was afraid that she would ambush him during the process, but how was that possible? Not to mention the fact that she and Lin Yi had this little mistress relationship. Even if they didn't, she wouldn't do something that ungrateful. No, Lin Yi didn't expect Rock Candy to have such a big reaction. He was silent for a while. Lin Yi looked at Rock Candy and asked, "Are you serious? Then what do you think?" Rock Candy stared at Lin Yi. "If you don't believe me, then you can hug me." Rock Candy lived in the Ice Palace since she was young. In her heart, hugging a stranger was already a very intimate action. That's why she said that. Okay, let's be together. Let's hug. Xiao Xiao shouted. Lin Yi didn't know what to say, but seeing Rock Candy close her eyes and stand there motionlessly, her eyelashes trembling, obviously nervous, Lin Yi hesitated. Should he hug her or not? If he didn't, would Rock Candy be unhappy? Was she unhappy just now? With that thought, Lin Yi walked over and hugged Rock Candy gently. Rock Candy's body softened and fell into Lin Yi's arms, her breathing uneven. Evidently, she had never experienced something like this before. Maybe it was because she was aroused, but Rock Candy's body emitted a cold aura. Only someone like Lin Yi, with his 5 elements and 7 elements, could handle it. Other people probably wouldn't be able to handle it. The more aroused she was, the colder it got. If they were in bed, wouldn't they be frozen into a popsicle? You're here? At that moment, Aunt Qing's voice came from the entrance of the vault. She had received news that Lin Yi was here, but she had something to do at the time, so she asked Xiao Xiao to go first. She rushed over when she was done, and the first thing she saw was Lin Yi hugging Rock Candy, as intimate as they could be. Aunt Qing paused, and Bingtang reacted as well when she heard Aunt Qing's voice. She wanted to get out of Lin Yi's arms subconsciously, but after thinking about it, she realized that it wasn't a big deal. She was an authoritative figure in the Ice Palace, and she could do whatever she wanted. So, Rock Candy opened her eyes and smiled at Aunt Qing, a little embarrassed. The 2 dimples on her cheeks made people feel that she was very happy right now. "It's fine. I'm just walking around. I'll go back first. You guys continue?" Aunt Qing smiled and shook her head. She really didn't have enough brain power. Weren't Rock Candy and Lin Yi enemies? Why were they hugging each other secretly? She really couldn't understand the world of the young. She was old. Aunt Qing came and left quickly, and Rock Candy was a little shy. She pushed Lin Yi. "Hey, you make the pill first." "Okay." At this moment, Lin Yi completely believed Bingtang. This little girl really dared to love and hate. Lin Yi was a little surprised, Xiao Xiao, then closed the door of the hidden treasure house. But I think Aunt Qing must have told the other disciples, so no one dares to come near here. But it's still good to be on guard. Okay. Xiao Xiao nodded and went to close the door. Lin Yi, on the other hand, took out the automatic pesticide cauldron Han Jingjing gave him and placed it in front of him. Huh, what's this? It looks weird. Rock Candy looked at the thing Lin Yi took out. Chapter 3487. No, it's too expensive. I was going to send Xiao Xiao to get one from you, but now I'm getting one from you. Give it to me. Crystal Candy extended her hand. Haha, but it's fine. If you need anything, just come to me. Lin Yi smiled. That's true. Crystal Candy looked at Lin Yi's elixir-making godly item curiously. This thing, it can make elixirs automatically? No wonder your success rate is so high and so fast. You have good stuff on you. It's all right, Lin Yi nodded. But this isn't for sale. There's only one, and I have it. No wonder. But it's right to keep good stuff for yourself. Crystal Candy nodded. Then you can start now. Do you need my and Xiao Xiao's help? No need for that. Lin Yi waved his hand and opened the cauldron. Just give me the ingredients. Okay. Crystal Candy took out the ingredients for the Great Recovery Pill and gave it to Lin Yi. She had already prepared it and was going to find someone else to make it, but her relationship with the Sky Elixir sect wasn't good, so she just left it here. Lin Yi took out 4 sets of ingredients, and after some hesitation, he took out 5. According to the cauldron's capacity, it could hold 5 sets of ingredients at once. But Lin Yi still wanted to see if it was 4 or 5 sets of ingredients that would maximize the profits. Lin Yi turned on the Shin Nong automatic cauldron, and on the LCD screen, a welcome screen appeared. It was Han Jingjing's smiling face, and below it was a line of words. Jingjing made the elixir-making system V1. 0 for Linny Bro. Xiao Xiao and Crystal Candy were surprised to see this welcome screen. Who is this Han Jingjing? Why is she so good? Did she invent all these cauldrons? Crystal Candy asked curiously. She's Linny Honey's other mistress. I don't know if she's ranked before or after you, but she's definitely ranked after me, Xiao Xiao explained. Bingtang nodded her head. Her thoughts had always been to continue the ancient rules, so she didn't really care about how many wives Linny had. Everyone was a heaven stage cultivator, and their lifespans were unlimited. She didn't care about these details at all. On the contrary, Linny had so many people around him who could help him. Rock Candy was also very happy. Then she is really powerful. After Lin Yi entered the cauldrons menu, he chose the third-grade medicinal pill, Great Cyclic Pill. After he clicked Confirm, a line of words appeared on the screen. Please wait a moment. Jingjing is currently generating the Great Recover Pill refining script for Big Brother Lin Yi. After some careful calculations, I realized that putting in 5 portions of materials each time would give me the greatest profit. Sure enough, there were 5 portions. Because there were only 4 portions last time, Lin Yi didn't pay much attention to this notification, but he had a vague impression of it. With that thought, Lin Yi put 5 portions of Great Cyclic Pills materials into the cauldron. He was ready to put in his chi and start refining. When Lin Yi put in the materials and Crystal Candy saw the notification on the screen, she was even more shocked. Refining script has been generated. According to the weight in the cauldron, 5 portions of materials will be put in. Estimated time of refining is 3 hours and 50 minutes. Please prepare your chi in advance. Estimated number of pills produced is 8. 5 portions of materials could produce 8 chi gathering pills? How is that possible? But Lin Yi didn't question the notification on the screen, so Crystal Candy continued to watch. After 4 hours, when Lin Yi finished refining and opened the cauldron, there really were 8 chi gathering pills inside. But Crystal Candy's first reaction wasn't shock. She glared at Lin Yi. You just told me that you still have the materials for Ice Heart Jade Bone Pill, but you don't. You're just afraid that I'll get suspicious if you make too many, so you lied to me, right? Lin Yi didn't think that Crystal Candy would think of something like that. He smiled bitterly. This ice girl was quite vengeful. Xiao Chun looked at Crystal Candy helplessly. I didn't hug you before, did I? Then don't lie to me in the future. I want to know what Xiao Xiao knows. You and her. Didn't you just hug? Crystal Candy said. Linny Honey touched my chest. Xiao Xiao interrupted. Pfft. Ahem. Linny didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I didn't mean it. No way. You did it on purpose at the auction, but you didn't mean it in the car. Xiao Xiao said. Then, you touch it too. Crystal Candy didn't listen to Xiao Xiao and Lin Yi's argument. She puffed out her chest and said, not wanting to be left behind. Let's get down to business. Linny didn't know what to do. Crystal Candy really was. Once she decided on something, she'd let it go. Coward. Crystal Candy humphed. You're brave enough to kill Elder Schwanchen's disciple, but you're so cowardly when it comes to me. Lin Yi took a deep breath and pounced at Crystal Candy. Rock Candy was startled. Go, Linny Honey. Xiao Xiao waved her hands. It was 2 at first, but it became 3, and Xiao Xiao joined in as well. In the end, everyone's clothes were all messed up. All 3 of them were top Sky Class Masters. But this kind of fighting didn't just use up energy, it used up energy as well. It didn't take long before they were tired. Crystal Candy glared at Lin Yi as she laid on the ground. I've never been this crazy in my entire life. I told you to touch here. Why did you touch other places? Xiao Xiao touched it. Linny said innocently. Bullshit. It's your hand. Crystal Candy raged. Xiao Xiao was holding my arm. Linny explained. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, couldn't stop giggling on the side. When the 3 of them had rested enough, Linny spoke up. Bingtang. Do you know that the Ice Palace has an art that's suitable for people with spongy bodies? The person Aunt Xing mentioned before, is it your friend? Rock Candy suddenly thought of something and said, is it Wang Xinyan who you carried last time? Yeah, that's her. Linny nodded. Was she before or after me? Crystal Candy asked suddenly. Before. Linny paused and smiled bitterly. But when I came to Songshan, she was the first person I met on the train. I'm just asking, nothing else. Crystal Candy said calmly. Otherwise, I wouldn't know how to address her when we meet again. Chapter 3488. I'll get it for you. Bingtang stood up and tidied up her clothes. She walked to a nearby bookshelf and found a book. This is the one. But I don't know if she can practice it. She needs the pure chi from the sky and earth. Bingtang said. Bingtang didn't know what to say. How did that senior from the Ice Palace practice? Linny asked after some thought. At that time, the chi wasn't this thin. She went to Sky Class Island after that, and I think it was the Ice Grandmaster who came back to borrow her. I'm not too sure about the specifics, it's just a legend. Crystal Candy said. So you're saying that the Ice Grandmaster has reached the peak of perfection? She can bring people to Sky Class Island directly? Linny was a bit surprised. It wasn't that hard to get to Sky Class Island, but it required so many inheritors to activate it at the same time. The difficulty was obvious. But the Ice Grandmaster was able to travel between Sky Class Island and the common world. She really was a powerful person. Wait. Back then, Linny found that the Shennon Cauldron replica was taken away from Zhang Liju's tomb. Could it be that Zhang Liju came back to take it himself? If his wife could do that, then Zhang Liju, who was even more powerful, would be able to do it as well. That meant that Zhang Liju's strength was at a level that Lin Yi couldn't even imagine. The Ice Grandmaster's strength must be very powerful, but I don't know if she can go to Sky Class Island directly. Perhaps the Snow Valley's Grandmaster Shui and Master Zhang Liju couldn't travel back and forth. Master Zhang Liju has a few inheritor wives, just like you, so he went back and forth. Crystal Candy's words made sense in the beginning, but the latter part made Linny laugh. Crystal Candy's sudden words made Lin Yi not know whether to laugh or cry. She might be jealous, but that wasn't entirely true. Crystal Candy didn't have that kind of resentment in her words, and it felt like a normal conversation. Lin Yi couldn't understand her personality at all. All right, I'll go back and test it, but I have a lot of energy stones, so it should be replaceable. I'll let her use them to train. That should work too, right? Lin Yi actually wanted to increase Xinyan's strength straight away. His strength was limitless, and he could get as much as she wanted. He didn't need to worry about Xinyan's spongy body at all. Even if she lost some every day, Linny would be able to make up for it. And then go back quickly. The Heaven Stage trial might be just around the corner. Rock Candy said, when the time comes, we'll meet again in the trial. All right, after I finish refining the rest of the Recover pill, I will bid farewell to Aunt Qing. Linny realized that Crystal Candy was very decisive when she did things, even if she was very happy with Lin Yi today. But he wouldn't linger either. He just wanted Lin Yi to get down to business. Honey Linny, you're leaving again. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, was a little reluctant. I'll leave after seeing Aunt Qing and you Bing. Linny nodded. Linny finished the rest of the pills, and Crystal Candy and Xiao Xiao accompanied Lin Yi to see Aunt Qing. Candy, you and Linny are together? Aunt Qing saw Crystal Candy. She asked mischievously. Crystal Candy didn't feel embarrassed and only nodded. Aunt Qing, didn't you always say that he's a good person? But I think he's a good person. Yeah, I'm happy that you can be with Lin Yi, Aunt Qing said with satisfaction. This is a good home for you. Aunt Qing, I didn't have time to tell you, but my inheritance was successful. The moment I succeeded, I leveled up to Sky Class Late Phase Peak. I'll go with Xiao Xiao to the Sky Class trial. As for the Ice Palace, Crystal Candy was worried that she and Xiao Xiao would leave. There would be a gap in the Ice Palace. Without a master, they'd be bullied by other sections. Aunt Qing will stay here. Aunt Qing smiled. Aunt Qing's strength isn't high, but I'll protect the Ice Palace with my life. Right, Crystal Candy? Does the Ice Palace still have the materials for the Qi-gathering pill? Linny thought about it and asked. Aunt Qing was now at the peak of the middle phase of Sky Class. Compared to the first time she met Lin Yi, her strength had increased by a small level. Now, She would only need 4 chi gathering pills to reach the level of perfection. You're saying that you want to concoct pills for Aunt Ching and help her break through? Crystal Candy paused and understood what Linny meant. That's right, I can ignore the other sects, but I can't ignore the Ice Palace. You and Xiao Xiao are gone, but my friends Yu Bing and Zhao Qiju are here. Nothing can happen to them. Linny nodded. But after taking the Qi gathering pill, Aunt Ching might not be able to reach Sky Dao for the rest of her life. Crystal Candy hesitated. Ice Palace Master, protecting the Ice Palace is the biggest wish of my life. I've never thought about breaking through to Sky Dao. As long as I can reach Sky Dao, my life will be extended endlessly, and I'll be able to protect this Ice Palace for a while. Aunt Ching said nonchalantly. Crystal Candy, actually, it's not impossible to break through to Sky Dao with the Qi gathering pill. Lin Yi waved his hand. I wasn't familiar with you before, so I didn't tell you in detail. Now, be it you, Xiao Xiao, or Aunt Ching, you're all people I trust. I won't hide it from you. Oh? Crystal Candy raised her head to look at Lin Yi. Actually, I don't know if you know that I'm Zhang Liju's heir or not, but I got his refinement manuals from his tomb, so I'm his disciple. Also, I found a method he left behind in the tomb that allows one to use pills to reach Sky Dao. Linny said this because Xiao Xiao and Bing Tang were the closest people to him, and Aunt Ching, on the other hand, was like family to him. She had always been helping him, and so Linny didn't hide anything from them. He left behind a method to make pills, called Sky Dao Golden Pill. Linny didn't hide anything from them. He didn't want to hide anything from them. He left behind a method to make pills called Sky Dao Golden Pill. Sky Dao Golden Pill? You're saying that consuming this Sky Dao Golden Pill will allow one to break through to Sky Dao? Crystal Candy paused, a little surprised. She'd never heard of such a magical thing, but before seeing Lin Yi's pill making, she didn't even know about this automatic pesticide cauldron. Chapter 3489. Second update, asking for votes. Recommended new book, Extreme Cultivator Master. Ah, that's great. If there were other ways to level up, Aunt Ching would be fine. Bing Tang calmed down and glared at Lin Yi. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I was worried about you. I haven't hugged her yet. Lin Yi smiled. Humph. Bing Tang glared at Lin Yi. Then go check up on Yu Bing and make the Qi gathering pill. Then go find the recipe. Okay. Lin Yi nodded. Yu Bing was doing very well in the Ice Palace. He could take a leave and go back to the hidden house Yu. He was a small leader here, and he was promoted from the outer sect manager to the vice deacon of the Ice Palace. Above the deacon was the elder. Yu Bing wasn't strong enough right now, but once he was strong enough, he'd be promoted to a deacon. There weren't any male disciples in the Ice Palace before, but that didn't mean there wouldn't be any in the future. Yu Bing had his relationship with Lin Yi, and he was doing quite well himself, so he was promoted very quickly. Boss, you came to see me. Yu Bing was very happy to see Lin Yi. I contacted my family, and they found out that my sister is the inheritor and has left already. I hope that you can take care of her, boss. In the future Sky Class test, my strength is definitely not enough, but I'll stay in the common world and help you guard the Ice Palace. Okay, I understand, but I'll first increase your and Chi-Jia's strength, and then you'll use a Qi gathering pill to reach Sky Class early phase and help Aunt Ching guard the Ice Palace. As for the rest, we'll talk about it when I come back, Lin Yi said to Yu Bing. He had already planned it out. Yu Bing might not be able to increase his strength after using the Qi gathering pill, but Lin Yi would give them a few energy stones each for them to train with. When Lin Yi came back, or when they could get a foothold on Sky Class Island, Lin Yi would definitely help them increase their strength again. Ah, Boss Lin Yi, can I use the Qi gathering pill too? Yu Bing was surprised and happy. He was in the Hidden House Yu and was nurtured by the Hidden House Yu. It was already amazing that he could reach Sky Class. Otherwise, Xiaochen wouldn't have fallen out with the Hidden House Xiao because of the Qi gathering pill. So not only did Yu Bing not reject the Qi gathering pill, he was even looking forward to it. It's good enough that I have Sky Class early phase strength. Boss, I'll go get Zhao Qiju now. Okay. Lin Yi nodded. After settling the two of them down, Lin Yi went to refine the Qi gathering pill. He also told Rock Candy that he would give each of them a Qi amassing pill. Furthermore, Linny left some energy stones for them to cultivate with. After doing all this, it was time for Lin Yi to return. He had to leave before the day of the Sky Class test. After going to Zhang Liju's tomb, it was time for the Sky Class test. Lin Yi didn't know what the purpose of this test was. Did the Shinshin Elder do this to pick out the participants for the Sky Class meeting? But Lin Yi felt that this was unnecessary. But no matter what Lin Yi thought, the Five-Element sect was the one who started the Sky Class Island plan. As long as he didn't piss Lin Yi off, Lin Yi could only follow his rules. After saying goodbye to the Ice Palace, Lin Yi brought Xinyan's practitioner's arts back to Donghai City. He planned to settle Xinyan down first before heading to the tomb with Xiaoke. Lin Yi couldn't help but feel sour. He subconsciously wanted to bring Xiaoke there, but then he remembered that Xiaoke was already unconscious. He thought back to all the times he spent with Xiaoke. Although their love was short, it still lasted for a long time. Their love was short, but Xiaoke gave everything she had. This was a stubborn girl. She was willing to give up her life for the one she loved. The children in the orphanage, and now Lin Yi, Xiaoke had always been like this. With that thought, Lin Yi clenched his fists. Logically speaking, he didn't need to go to Sky Class Island. As long as he made Zhang Liju's Sky Dao Golden Core, Lin Yi would be able to break through even in the common world. But he had to go. After returning to Donghai City, Xinyan and Han Jingjing were both surprised. Lin Yi was back so soon. You didn't spend more time with Xiao Xiao? Xinyan felt that this wasn't right, but she was still happy. Lin Yi must be worried about her training. That's why he came back so soon. This made Xinyan feel that she was still very important in Lin Yi's heart. At least, she was no less important than Xiao Xiao. She didn't want to compare herself to Tang Yun or Meng Yao. There wasn't anything to compare them to, but Xiao Xiao and Han Jingjing. Xinyan felt that she was about the same. I'll take care of your training first. After that, I plan on going to Master Zhang's tomb, Lin Yi said as he took out Xinyan's practitioner's arts from the Jade Space. He didn't have time to look at it in detail back in the Ice Palace, so Lin Yi put it away. Now that he looked at the name, he jumped up in shock. Nanming Technique? Nanming Technique? Xinyan and Han Jingjing paused when they saw the name. Why does it sound like Nanming Star Absorption Arts? Lin Yi, on the other hand, frowned. This was similar to Naipeo's Wasp Absorption Arts. There was a note on the title page, and it was most likely the work of that senior from the Ice Palace. Nanming Divine Art. This is an extremely secret art. You can use this art to absorb other people's true qi and spiritual qi. Please hide it in the treasure pavilion. Do not easily look at others. Those with malicious intentions should practice it carefully. However, from the notes on this mantra, this Nanming divine art is really suitable for Xinyan. Right now, her body is lacking a large amount of true qi. If she could absorb true qi from people or objects, it would not be a problem. Lin Yi explained, it's just that this art is a bit evil, but Xinyan can absorb energy from energy stones. It doesn't target people. That's true. Xinyan nodded. Knives can kill, and they can also be used to cut vegetables. It depends on how you use it. As long as you don't feel pressure, let's see how you train then. Lin Yi nodded. He was afraid that Xinyan would resist, but it seemed like that wasn't the case. The name and nature of the practitioner's arts didn't affect her that much. Chapter 3490. Okay. Wang Xinyan nodded obediently. She took the incantation, opened it, and started reading the instructions. Birds, migrating to the southern Ming by sea. The southern Ming, the heavenly lake, broad and profound, vast and limitless, able to contain all rivers. However, this was only the first incantation of the southern Ming divine art, the Qi transformation chapter. According to the description, she could transform the energy of heaven and earth into her own, but there was no explanation on how to use it. In other words, the incantation that Xinyan was practicing could only absorb energy, but not use it. The incantation could only absorb the energy of heaven and earth and other people's energy, but it couldn't be used in battle. Without the corresponding mantra, Wang Xinyan couldn't activate her qi and use it. It could only be said that her strength had increased, but she was still a harmless master. But even so, Lin Yi was satisfied. He didn't need Xinyan to do anything, as long as she could be with him. Xinyan's biggest contribution was to help him practice and increase his speed. Although he couldn't use it now, it might come in handy in the future. So Linny said, "Since this incantation is suitable for you, you can start practicing now. Absorb my energy for your own use, and when I help you reach Earth-class late phase peak, you can take a chi-gathering pill. Then, will it hurt you if I absorb your energy?" Xinyan asked worriedly. "No, my energy can be replenished quickly if I give it to someone else. It's different from others," Linny said, "so you don't have to worry about anything. Just use the incantation and it'll be fine." "Okay, I'll give it a try." Xinyan nodded and started practicing the incantation according to the Southern Ming divine art. The incantation wasn't hard to understand. Under Lin Yi's guidance, Xinyan was able to learn it easily. Although it was a bit rusty, it didn't affect her practice. "All right, you can start absorbing the true qi that I've transferred to you." Lin Yi started channeling the art of dragon mastery as well, putting his hand on Xinyan's pulse and transferring his pure qi into her body. An unprecedented suction force appeared. It began to devour the physical strength and true qi that Lin Yi had transferred to it. The absorption speed surprised Lin Yi a little. It wasn't like he hadn't transferred qi to someone before, but it was never this fast. Wang Xinyan was practically sucking her own qi out of her body. Fortunately, the heaven and earth spiritual qi in Lin Yi's space was endless, and Lin Yi was only acting as a conductor. Even so, Xinyan's rate of absorption was clearly faster than Lin Yi's. As a result, a lot of Lin Yi's qi was being sucked away by Xinyan. Of course, Lin Yi didn't care too much about it. If the jade space didn't have enough energy, he could use the energy in his body to make up for it. Even if it was sucked dry, Lin Yi wouldn't care. He had the jade space. He could recover at any time. Everyone knew that there was a limit to the amount of qi in a practitioner's body. After using it, the qi would be drained, and it would take some time to recover. However, there were some special cultivators who were exceptions. For example, an alchemist, after his physical strength and true qi were used up, he would not be able to use it. They could also overdraft their own qi, which meant that they could overdraft the qi that was used to level up. However, this part of the qi was used up, and the practitioner's level would drop. On the other hand, Xinyan was the same. She was like Zhang Naipeo back then, and could actively absorb the qi from others. She could make others overdraft their qi and drop to the lowest level. Zhang Naipeo relied on this move to be invincible in the martial arts world. It was just that Lin Yi was an anomaly, and his path to becoming a master was cut short. Now, it was the same for Xinyan. It didn't take long before Lin Yi realized that his physical qi was being sucked dry, and Xinyan wasn't planning on letting him go. She was starting to force him to use up his qi. So Lin Yi started to drop from sky-class late phase peak, and after a while, Lin Yi felt that he was only at sky-class late phase peak. Xinyan, on the other hand, started to move from a normal person to a practitioner. Golden class early phase, golden class early phase peak, golden class mid phase, all the way to golden class late phase peak, ready to break through to mystic. Boom dash, Xinyan's clothes exploded the moment she broke through to mystic. Her method of breaking through was slightly different from the way Lin Yi helped his followers level up. In essence, Xinyan leveled up on her own, and it was different from others who leveled up passively. It was just that Lin Yi provided enough qi for Xinyan to level up. However, Xinyan's clothes exploded into pieces, and she only paused momentarily. She had already taken off her clothes at Han Jingjing's house, so she didn't mind it too much and continued to use the mantra. She was more excited than shy. She became a mystic in such a short amount of time. It was really fast. After mystic was Earth class late phase peak. Lin Yi was surprised to find that Xinyan didn't seem to have any intention of stopping, and she was still absorbing the qi that he was transferring to her. What was going on? In the past, when his other followers reached Earth class late phase peak, they naturally stopped, and his qi couldn't be transferred over. But Xinyan didn't have a problem. After a moment of confusion, Lin Yi thought about it carefully, and it made sense. Wang Xinyan's practitioner's arts was to absorb other people's pure energy for her own use, and so her practitioner's arts could absorb any kind of pure energy. Lin Yi's restrictions only applied to other arts. but Wang Xinyan's arts didn't apply at all. Soon, Xinyan broke through again and officially stepped into Sky Class. What surprised Linny was that Xinyan's mantra was obviously better than Naipeo's wasp absorption arts. Naipeo could absorb chi to death, but Xinyan didn't seem to have this problem. Chapter 3491. The Naming Divine Art could only be cultivated by cultivators with the corresponding physique. Others couldn't cultivate it. On the other hand, the wasp-absorbing divine art could be cultivated by everyone, but its side effects were very obvious. Furthermore, its power wasn't as great as the Naming divine art. While Linny was surprised, he didn't stop the chant. He continued to let Wang Xinyan absorb the qi in her body. Of course, this was only for Lin Yi. If it were anyone else, they would have lost a level and wouldn't be able to recover even if they wanted to. But Lin Yi wasn't the same. He could recover very quickly. Wang Xinyan's strength continued to soar. This kind of chant made Lin Yi very envious. If Lin Yi had this ability, he wouldn't have to work so hard. Lin Yi had gone through a lot of hardships from Golden Class, but the people around him leveled up smoothly, including their opponents. But while Lin Yi sighed, he wasn't too envious. Although Lin Yi's leveling speed wasn't as fast as theirs, but in the whole common world, who dared to say that Lin Yi wasn't the first? Who dared to say that they had strength that surpassed Lin Yi? The same Sky Class full perfection, but not the same. Before Lin Yi was Sky Class full perfection, he could instantly kill a full perfection master. But now, even if he was a full perfection master, who dared to say that they could instantly kill someone of the same level? This was the difference. Leveling up fast had its advantages and disadvantages, but Lin Yi had walked step by step. That was why he had the strength to look down on the whole common world. Sky Class late phase, peak full perfection. Lin Yi didn't expect Wang Xinyan to rush all the way to this point. Was this the special characteristic of a sponge body? At the end, Lin Yi had no qi left in his body at all. It was all sucked away by Wang Xinyan, just like Zhang Naipeo. The only difference was that Lin Yi's meridians weren't injured, and he could recover quickly. However, just because Lin Yi's qi was gone didn't mean that Wang Xinyan would stop. Wang Xinyan continued to absorb spiritual energy from the space in the jade until she reached the level of a perfected master. Although Lin Yi was also a Sky Class full circle master, Lin Yi's pure qi wasn't enough for Xinyan to level up to full circle. He needed to use the pure qi in the jade space. This thing was actually similar to a power bank. Charging and discharging were different. There was a loss of electricity, so it couldn't be said that Lin Yi just gave all his qi to Xinyan, and she'd be able to reach Sky Class perfection straight away. Unless those experts from the Tantric sect in the foreign lands had such strength. As for what Tantra was, Lin Yi didn't know. He only heard about it from the old ancestor of House Yu. Lin Yi did not know the specifics, but he guessed that it might be an existence similar to an ancient sect, with some evil mental cultivation method. Xinyan successfully reached Sky Class late phase peak, and even she felt that it was unbelievable. Once upon a time, this was a power that she had to look up to, but in the blink of an eye, she became one. Xinyan, get used to it first. I'm exhausted from being sucked by you, and I need to recover my qi. Lin Yi had dropped to 0 level, and naturally, he needed to recover quickly. Although normal people wouldn't dare to cause trouble for Lin Yi now, Lin Yi was afraid that accidents might happen. He needed to maintain his peak condition at all times. Xinyan blushed. She was closer to Lin Yi now. So when Lin Yi said that he was exhausted, Xinyan couldn't help but think of other things. She wasn't an innocent girl who didn't know anything. But it seemed like Lin Yi didn't notice anything. Xinyan quickly hid her emotions and went with Han Jingjing to get used to the strength of Sky Class late phase peak. The next morning, Lin Yi finally recovered to his peak, and Lin Yi told Xinyan and Han Jingjing about it. They were preparing to go to the tomb. Lin Yi brought Skybolt Pig to Zhang Liju's tomb. He always brought Xiaoke along, but this time, Lin Yi didn't. Only Lin Yi went, and it made Lin Yi's heart feel heavy. This was the nth time Lin Yi had come to the tomb. Other than feeling a little heavy, he was very familiar with the place. Lin Yi went straight to the furthest stone door in the depths of the tomb. Beside the stone door, Lin Yi found the annotation from last time. Simplified Sky Class Golden Pill Recipe, Sky Class Late Phase Peak. Mystic First Level Refiner can open this door, Zhang Liju. He had already reached Sky Class Late Phase Peak, but what about Mystic First Level Refiner? Lin Yi didn't know if the pause meant or and, but it was a bit ambiguous to write it here. But Lin Yi thought about it. He was already a practitioner of the 5 elements and 7 elements, and the 5 elements were all real, forming a cycle in his body. He had already fulfilled the requirements of a refiner. It was just that the refiner's arts were a bit complicated, and Lin Yi didn't have time to experiment and practice it. With Han Jingjing's automatic refiner cauldron, Lin Yi didn't need to study the refiner's arts at all. But now that he had Han Jingjing's cauldron, he should be considered a top refiner, right? Even if his chi wasn't enough to make a mystic first-level elixir, his level should be enough. So, with that thought, Lin Yi reached out to push the door. The door didn't budge at all. Lin Yi paused and thought of the stone door in the Xinyuan cave. The stone door was a dead object, and although Lin Yi's strength was there, he couldn't tell the stone door through words, could he? So, Lin Yi had to show his strength and let the stone door test him. Perhaps this tomb's door was the same. Lin Yi hurriedly channeled the art of dragon mastery, revealing his full power as a sky-class late-phase peak. But the door still didn't respond. Did he have to show his strength as a refiner? Lin Yi had no choice but to activate his refiner fire, but Lin Yi didn't do much, and the stone door started to make a ka-ka-ka sound, and the door slowly opened. The room was a secret room, and after opening, there was a stone table in the middle of the room, and on the stone table was a small antique box. Other than that, there was nothing else. It seemed like the main function of this secret room was to store this elixir recipe. Chapter 3492. It seemed like there was no danger here, and Zhang Liju didn't set any traps. Heaven's Path Golden Pill. These 4 words were inscribed on the box. Lin Yi took a deep breath, picked up the box, and carefully opened it. Inside the box was a small scroll. It did not disappoint Lin Yi, but it did not surprise Lin Yi either. Lin Yi was fantasizing about how great it would be if there was a completed Heavenly Path Golden Pill in the box. But there was nothing inside. It seemed like there was only a pill recipe. Lin Yi carefully opened the box, took out the pill recipe, and slowly unfolded it. Simplified Heaven's Path Golden Core. Inside the scroll, there were a few big words. Lin Yi continued to read and saw that it continued to say, "The heavenly Tao is heartless, and the heavenly Tao is heartless, treating all living things as straw dogs. No matter how the world changed, the Tao would not change. This Tao was the heavenly Tao, but heaven rewards the diligent." After reading through some complicated introductions, Lin Yi had a vague understanding of the heavenly Tao. The heavenly Tao was a kind of struggle against the heavens. Under the heavenly Tao, it was a struggle against oneself and others. However, above the heavenly Tao, it was more like immortal cultivation. It had already transcended the scope of body refining. Once he stepped onto the heavenly Tao, it was the beginning of the path of cultivation. His strength and lifespan would be incomparable to his current state. Of course, this was just a description of the passage. Lin Yi wasn't too sure what it actually looked like. Below that was Zhang Liju's notes, and the gist of it was that Zhang Liju copied the recipe from the records of Strange Tales, but it was a mystic level 1 recipe, and he couldn't make it at all. However, after a long period of research, he simplified the pill formula into a simplified version of the Heaven's Path Golden Pill. The effects of this Heaven's Path Golden Pill were no longer as powerful as the original Heaven's Path Golden Pill. It was said that it was a genuine Heaven's Path Golden Core. On the other hand, the simplified version of the Heaven's Path Golden Pill was only effective for a single period of time. However, the simplified version of the Heaven's Path Golden Pill could only be refined by a 4th-tier apothecary. A 4th-grade medicinal pill? Lin Yi was slightly taken aback. He could really give it a try. With Han Jingjing's alchemy artifact in hand, as well as the inexhaustible physical strength and true chi, a 4th-grade medicinal pill should be able to be refined successfully. At this point, Lin Yi began to look at the simplified Heaven's Path Golden Pill formula. Morning dragon grass, heaven herb root, bitter fruit, heart-devouring exquisite grass, chai flower leaf. There weren't many materials, only 5 in total. However, they were all herbs that Lin Yi had never heard of. Even with Lin Yi's vast knowledge of herbs, he had never heard of these things. This made Lin Yi slightly nervous. Could it be those rare herbs that were not easy to get? Next up was the method to refine the pill. However, Lin Yi hadn't even prepared the herbs yet, so there was no point in looking at the refining method. At this point, Lin Yi put the formula into the jade space and left Zhang Liju's tomb. He returned to Donghai City and went straight to Boss Bai's place. Lin Yi didn't know about the herbs on the formula, but as a former top-level apothecary, Boss Bai should be familiar with it. He should have some understanding of it, so he decided to ask for some guidance. Boss Bai was a bit surprised at Lin Yi's sudden visit, but after Lin Yi told him why he was here, he nodded. You got the formula? Let me see the herbs on it. Okay. Lin Yi quickly took out the formula, and Boss Bai took it and studied it carefully. After a while, Lin Yi saw that Boss Bai wasn't talking, so he asked, How is it, Master Bai? Can you get these ingredients? Some, but most don't. Dragon donggrass and chiming flower leaf are very rare, but they can be obtained. I've heard of the sky herb root, but I've never heard of the heart-devouring exquisite grass and bitter fruit. This formula of yours isn't easy to get. Boss Bai said directly, I advise you not to put too much hope in it after all. Some of the ingredients from back then might be extinct now. Or should I say, this ingredient was already extinct back then, and who knows where Master Zhang Liju got his hands on it. I see. Lin Yi was a bit disappointed. That means I can't refine it? It's hard to say, but I don't recommend you spend your energy on this. Boss Bai said, You can use it as a backup, but you should focus on the Sky class test, right? I understand. Lin Yi nodded and put away the formula. Although he was still a bit unwilling, he knew that Boss Bai hadn't heard of it before, and asking others was useless. Now, only old Lin was left. If even old Lin didn't know, then Lin Yi would really have to give up. With that thought, Lin Yi didn't linger any longer. He said goodbye to Boss Bai and returned to his home in Donghai. Wang Xinyan was probably at school, and Han Jingjing wasn't at home either. Lin Yi, on the other hand, called Old Lin first. He needed to figure out if he could get the ingredients for the Sky Path Golden Pill. What disappointed Lin Yi, however, was that Old Lin's knowledge of these uncommon herbs was more or less the same as Boss Bai's. He'd never even heard of the heart-devourer exquisite grass and bitter fruit. These two things were probably extinct, or in other words, with Lin Yi's current knowledge, he didn't know where to find them. Helpless, Lin Yi could only give up, because Lin Yi's time was limited, and the Sky class test was about to begin. On this day, the Five-Element sect made an announcement to all the aristocratic families, sects, and ancient sections. The Sky class test had officially begun. All the participants who were qualified to participate in the test, please go to the Five-Element sect within 5 days after receiving the notice. No delay. Lin Yi drove Wang Xinyan and Han Jingjing to the Five-Element sect in the jeep, and Han Jingjing completely handed over the cauldron business in the mortal world to Fatty Lai and Kong Xiaobo. Anyway, the production technology for the first and second level cauldrons was already mature, and Han Jingjing didn't plan to introduce higher-level cauldrons. Han Jingjing never planned to take over the third-level elixir market. At the same time, the participants from the other ancient sects who were qualified to participate in the test, as well as the independent cultivators who had the map of the Sky-class island, all moved to the Five-Element sect. In the Five-Element sect, Elder Xinshin was secretly discussing with Kong Ming about the test. Chapter 3493. The main purpose of this trial is to let the inheritors of the 5 elements and 7 attributes head to the cave of the 5 evils dragon in the 5 evils wilderness to receive the final inheritance blessing, strengthen their attributes, and prepare for the opening of the Heaven Island. Patriarch Xinshin said, as for the other trial takers, in order to protect their safety, lure out the 5 evils dragon to deal with it, and create time for the inheritors. This can be considered a test for the trial takers. If they survive, they will be qualified to participate in the Heaven Rank meeting and the Heaven Island plan. If they are injured, dead, or leave early, they will naturally not be qualified. 5 Evils Dragon? What's that? Kong Ming was slightly taken aback. This 5 Evils Dragon is the king of the spirit beasts in the 5 Evils Wilderness. It is extremely powerful and has the strength of the peak late stage of Heaven Rank. It is considered a top-notch spirit beast, and it is not impossible for it to break through the heavenly Tao. Patriarch Xinshan explained, in the cave of the 5 Evils Dragon, there is the inheritance light of the power of the 5 elements. It can strengthen the attributes of the inheritors of the 5 elements, so that the opening of the Heaven Island will be more perfect. Otherwise, the physiques of the inheritors would be uneven due to some differences. If one of the physiques was weak, it might fail at the last step and affect the other inheritors, causing the opening of the Heavenly Island's entrance to fail. Therefore, in order to let this matter proceed smoothly, we must send the trial takers to restrain the 5 Evils Dragon and let the inheritors receive the inheritance blessing. Oh, then, we won't be able to determine who's going to do more or less. If one of the trial takers hides at the back and doesn't do anything, then they'll be able to get away with it. Kong Xiaoming didn't understand. Indeed, but in order to prevent this from happening and protect the safety of the inheritors, I originally wanted Little One to be the supervisor of the trial. However, there was no news of him later, and it was unknown whether he was dead or alive. I wanted Little Two to go with you, and let him secretly act as a recorder. Record the entire process and I will use it to evaluate the score. Patriarch Xinshan said. However, now that there have been a series of accidents, I have changed my mind. I plan to personally supervise the battle. Father-in-law, I have a good idea. Kong Xiaoming said. Actually, the people who are participating in the Sky Class Assembly are all different. What did it matter if there was one more or one less? Let's all go together when the Heavenly Island opens. We won't lose anything anyway. That being said, it's still very difficult to open the Heaven Stage Island. It's not fixed. It might be long or short. What if so many people don't have enough time to pass? Patriarch Xinshan shook his head and said, the current situation is still unknown. Moreover, after reaching the Heavenly Stage Island, will the resources there be limited? If limited, the more people there are, the more they will snatch, and the less everyone will get. This is what I've been worried about. If that's the case, Kong Ming was a little embarrassed after hearing it. However, at that time, we can study the rules at the Heaven Rank meeting. Whoever passes it first will pass it later. After going to the Heavenly Island, how would the resources be distributed? Rumor has it that the Heavenly Island emissary will come into contact with me soon, but this is only a rumor. It's hard to say whether there is such an emissary. If there is, I can figure out the situation on the Heavenly Island. Everyone can go, but the resources are really limited. Then we can only restrict some people. Father-in-law, actually, this is what I'm thinking. This time, the inheritors are going to receive the last blessing of the inheritance, right? These inheritors are Lin Yi's girlfriends. With Lin Yi's infatuated personality, he definitely won't let his women suffer losses. At that time, we can let everyone hide and let Lin Yi face the dragon of 5 evils alone. If Lin Yi can restrain the dragon of 5 evils by himself, it'll be even better. If Lin Yi can't restrain the dragon of 5 evils and is killed by the dragon of 5 evils, it'll be even better. We'll have gotten rid of a big threat. When the time comes, we'll wait for Lin Yi to die and restrain the dragon of 5 evils. Well, you're right. This is a good idea. We can make use of it. Why didn't I think of it before? Ancestor Xinshan was immediately delighted. Yes, using the relationship between Lin Yi and the inheritors to send Lin Yi to his death. Only a small person like Kong Ming could come up with such a bad idea. He patted Kong Ming's shoulder and said, yes, it's naturally the best if we can get rid of Lin Yi. It's a small matter for others, but during the Heavenly Island meeting, won't they have to act according to our 5 elements sect's mood? Who dares to go against me? Without Lin Yi, I'm the number 1 person under the way of heaven. What I'm most afraid of is that Lin Yi will snatch resources from us, not only for himself, but also for his friends and girlfriends. Then, what will we have left? As long as we kill Lin Yi, this won't be a problem. So, father-in-law, you agree with my proposal? Kong Ming had a flash of inspiration just now. When he heard Ancestor Xianqian say that everyone would go to restrain the five evils dragon and protect the inheritors, a thought flashed through Kong Ming's mind. Why should he help Lin Yi protect his girlfriend? Therefore, he came up with such an ultimate bad idea. Well, when the time comes, you can secretly make a connection. You have the title of my son-in-law, so this kind of thing should be in the bag. You can just hint that it's my idea. Ancestor Xianqian said. However, you have to be careful. Once Lin Yi dies, you must immediately deal with the dragon of five evils. You must not let it return to the cave. Otherwise, those inheritors will be in danger, and all my efforts will be wasted. Father-in-law, don't worry. Kong Ming quickly said. I will seize this opportunity. That's good. Ancestor Xianqian nodded. Remember, during the trial, you have to keep a low profile and try to fan the flames. If Lin Yi can successfully escape and is not killed by the five evils dragon, then you must let the people of the everyday sect clash with Lin Yi. Don't do it yourself. You are an alchemist. Even if you have taken the chi-gathering pill and advanced to the great perfection of heaven stage, your combat power is still not enough. Okay, father-in-law, don't worry. I'm not a reckless person. This kind of dirty trick of sowing discord is what I'm best at. Kong Ming quickly promised. Chapter 3494. Fortunately, Kong Ming did not die. Otherwise, the 11th would have been widowed. During this time, I have been working overtime to refine chi-gathering pills. Not only have I been promoted to the great perfection, but my beloved wife, the 11th, has also been promoted to the great perfection. I want her to participate in the Heaven Stage trial, and then we will go to the Heaven Stage Island together. I don't want to be separated from her. Kong Ming said. Oh. Patriarch Xianqian could not help but be stunned after hearing this. He did not know about this beforehand. Now that he heard it from Kong Ming, he was very moved. Although Kong Ming was a sinister person, he was still very good to the 11th. Previously, he had vaguely heard some rumors about Little Peach. He felt that Kong Ming was really a heartless person. However, Xianqian was also such a person, so he did not say much. However, he still felt some regret in his heart. After all, the 11th was his daughter. Now that he heard that Kong Ming was really good to the 11th, he could not help but be very happy. He said, Well, I am very pleased that you have such thoughts. Then bring her along. It just so happens that she also hates Lin Yi and that Han Jingjing. It's best to let Lin Yi and Han Jingjing die together, so that you can all vent your hatred. That's right. This time, not only Han Jingjing, but also that bitch Wang Xinyan. I want her dead. Mother *her. How dare she make my big brother a cuckold? I want her dead. Kong Ming said hatefully. This trial will be the death of Lin Yi's entire family. If it weren't for the fact that those inheritors are still useful, I would let the five evils dragon eat them all. Well, it doesn't matter. When we get to the Heaven Stage Island, we will find a way to kill them. The role of the inheritors is limited to the opening of the Heaven Stage Island. At that time, they will be useless. Patriarch Xianqian nodded. That's true. Father-in-law is still wise. Kong Ming nodded. Similar to the previous trials, after Lin Yi drove through several cities, he saw a barren land in front of him. At most, he could see a few villages and large tracts of farmland. As he went further, he couldn't even see the villages anymore. It was just an endless wasteland. Moreover, the road was getting more and more difficult to walk on. Fortunately, Lin Yi had experience and was driving an off-road vehicle. Otherwise, he would really go crazy. However, the road was a little bumpy. But now, whether it was Lin Yi, Xinyan, or Han Jingjing, they were all sky-class masters. They didn't care about that at all. Both of them were participating in the trials for the first time, so they were extremely excited. Of course, it was the same for Lin Yi, since he could see Meng Yao, Yu Shu, Yuning, Xiao Xiao, Little Nine, and Guan Xian. Lin Yi had wanted to go with Guan Xian, but the inheritors process was different from the experience. Boss Bai had to escort them personally. so Lin Yi could only give up. Will this trial be dangerous? Wang Xinyan's excitement was tinged with worry. With Lin Yi bro here, there's no need to be afraid. Han Jingjing was very confident. If it's dangerous, there will be in every trial. It depends on the content of the trial. We don't know what the trial is about. We'll only know when we go. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was very calm. After all, he would participate no matter if it was dangerous or not. After walking for another day, Lin Yi's car finally arrived at the announced location of the trial, 5 Elements Mountain Range. This place wasn't far from the Sky Elixir sect, but it was in 2 different directions. No wonder there was something fishy going on between the Sky Elixir sect and the 5 Elements sect. The 2 were so close. It seemed like this was the side closest to the 5 Fiends Mountain Range. He just didn't know how to enter. Lin Yi guessed that the 5 Elements Mountain Range was a part of the 5 Fiends Mountain Range, but the 2 weren't directly connected. There was a barrier in the middle, so it wasn't possible to enter. At the foot of the desolate 5 Elements Mountain Range, there was a luxurious inn. The style was similar to the inn in the Sky Elixir sect's trial. It was specially prepared for the participants. This similar style made Lin Yi feel that the Sky Elixir sect and the 5 Elements sect were related. Otherwise, they wouldn't have built it so similar. In the parking lot in front of the inn, there were already a few cars parked there. They were obviously the other participants. As for Lin Yi parked the car in the parking lot and got out with Zhao Qikuan. There were a few cars parked there as well, but he didn't know if they belonged to the other participants or the 5 Elements sect. The 3 of you, this isn't a normal inn. There's an important meeting going on here, and we don't accept outsiders. If you're not here for the meeting, then please leave. Lin Yi, Xinyan, and Han Jingjing had just entered the lobby when a man in a bagua robe stopped them. His tone was polite, but his words were firm. We're here for the trial, Lin Yi said faintly. Is this the meeting you were talking about? Oh, so you're participants? Then, please show us the invitation letter issued by the 5 Elements sect. Or, if you are a rogue cultivator, please show us the map fragment of the Heavenly Stage Island. The man in the bagua robe nodded to the 3 of them and said, Of the 3 of us, these 2 are freelancers, and I'm from a branch of the 5 Elements sect, Boss Bai's sect. Lin Yi said, What? The man froze when he heard Lin Yi say that he was from a branch of the 5 Elements sect. He remembered what he was told earlier. He had to be careful. All right, tell us your names and show us your strength. I'll help you register. No problem. Lin Yi, Han Jingjing, and Xinyan all channeled their arts, displaying their full power as Sky-class late-phase peak. The man in the robe was shocked beyond words. He was only a Sky-class early-phase disciple, and these 3 were all Sky-class full mastery. This was too strong. According to the rules of the trial this time, as long as one was above the heaven stage, they could participate. There was no upper limit, so after the man in the bagua robe saw their strength, he quickly nodded and said, Okay, then please show me your entrance scroll and your sect's invitation letter. I will help you with the check-in procedures. Lin Yi nodded and handed over the 3 map fragments and the recommendation letter that Boss Bai wrote for him. The man checked them carefully and registered them one by one before returning them to Lin Yi. All right, that's enough. You guys keep them well. When the test starts, you'll have to hand them in. Don't lose them, or you won't be able to participate in the test. Lin Yi nodded. All right, that's enough. Chapter 3495. The inconsiderate parts of the previous chapter have been amended. It's the end of the month. Vote for Old You if you have a monthly ticket. So, are you staying in 1 room or 3? The man in the bagua robe asked. A suite, please. Lin Yi, Wang Xinyan, and Han Jingjing were very close, and there was no need for them to be separated. Although the 2 of them had the strength of peak late-phase heaven class, they had no fighting power. For safety's sake, Lin Yi had to sleep with them. The man nodded and recorded their request, then handed a room card to Lin Yi, 3rd floor, room 301. After receiving the room card, Lin Yi, Wang Xinyan, and Han Jingjing prepared to go upstairs. The inn here had the most primitive stairs, there was no elevator, and just as Lin Yi and the other 2 were going upstairs, a participant above was going down. However, The stairs were narrow, and only one person could pass. Linny took 2 steps up, and the person also took 2 steps down. This was a spiral staircase, and there was no slow platform in the middle, so only one of them could go back. Linny had just arrived, and naturally didn't want to cause trouble. According to the rules of the secular world, people usually entered first and then left. So when Lin Yi, Wang Xinyan, and Han Jingjing were about to go down, the person above spoke. The one below, get out of the way. Damn it, I don't know where this wandering cultivator came from, and he even brought 2 girls with him. Does he think he's here to play? He really hasn't seen the world. This person was a disciple of a foreign sect, and his name was Lu Taishao. He had the strength of peak late-phase heaven class, which was also a very powerful existence in the trial, so he had always been arrogant. He had just bullied a peak late-phase heaven class wandering cultivator in the morning, so he was bursting with confidence. Moreover, he was participating in the trial. In theory, they could bring their spirit beasts and servants here. As long as they didn't go to the trial, it would be fine. It was normal for them to take care of the trial takers in their rooms. However, most of the trial takers came here to train, not to enjoy themselves. And so, naturally, Lu Taishao thought that Xinyan and Han Jingjing were Lin Yi's family. On the other hand, some rogue cultivators who had a bit of strength didn't know what to do in front of ordinary people in the secular world. Of course, in front of the ancient sects, they were nothing. Linny found this somewhat funny. In the ancient era, there was actually someone who didn't know him and was acting cool in front of him. He didn't know about the pretentious ones. Were they all dead or crippled? However, just as Linny was about to speak, a nervous voice rang out behind him. Brothers, when you're outside, suffering a loss is gaining an advantage. You should avoid it if you can. Linny was slightly stunned and turned around. He saw a thin man in his 20s standing behind him. Naturally, a heaven rank expert couldn't tell his age, so who knew how old this person was? Thank you for the reminder. Linny thought about it and decided to forget it. Now, Lin Yi's mentality was different from before. Linny really couldn't be bothered with him. Thus, Lin Yi took 2 steps back and let the cultivator who was about to go down first. Ha 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 ha. Lu Taishao was very happy to see Lin Yi retreating, coming down the stairs and leaving arrogantly. He didn't forget to show off his sky class full mastery strength before leaving. You're a good person, man. Be a man. Don't overestimate yourself, or you won't even know how you died. Linny shook his head helplessly and looked at the person who reminded him. However, Lin Yi didn't know this person. He probably didn't know him either. Otherwise, he wouldn't have reminded him. After all, Linny was infamous in the ancient times. Who would dare to cause trouble for Linny now? Brother, take a step back. Moreover, you have a family here. It's even harder to become enemies with such a narrow-minded person. The man reminded Xiao Chen. You're right. How should I address you? Linny asked. I'm Xiao Ran, a descendant of a declining family. I used to be from the ancient Xiao family. I wonder if you've heard of it? Speaking up to here, Xiao Ran couldn't help but laugh bitterly at himself. Because my family has been demoted from an ancient family to an ordinary family, I came here with the identity of a rogue cultivator. I'm now an expert at the peak of the late stage of heaven rank. How should I address you, brother? You seem to be a rogue cultivator, right? Oh, why do you say that? Can't I come from a sect? Linny was slightly stunned and asked curiously. However, Lin Yi really hadn't heard of the ancient Xiao family. It was probably a very declining family, just like Faubert's sect. They weren't qualified to participate in this trial anymore. Those sect disciples are all arrogant. How could they be willing to give in? At this point, Xiao Ran bitterly smiled and said, only a rogue cultivator would be as modest as you. Moreover, this is a trial, so most people wouldn't bring their families. However, you brought 2 women, so you're definitely a rogue cultivator. The disciples of sects and clans wouldn't do that, as it would distract them. Therefore, I suggest that you send the 2 of them back. Hehe, thank you for the reminder, Brother Xiao. However, they're also here to participate in the trial. Linny smiled. They're both sky class perfected. My name is Lin Yi, and I'm indeed a rogue cultivator. All right, I should go upstairs now. Brother Xiao, I'll leave you to your work. Ah, sky class perfected? Xiao Ran looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. Ah, you're the legendary Lin Yi. Lin Yi nodded, speechless at Xiao Ran's reaction. He might be famous now, but there was no need to act like that, was there? Ah, it's me, Brother Lin. Xiao Ran shook his head with a bitter smile. Then I won't disturb you anymore. All right, let's talk more in the future. Lin Yi nodded and led Xinyan and Han Jingjing upstairs. After Xiao Ran left, Xinyan said, "This guy's not bad. He's a warm-hearted person. Yeah, he probably suffered under that person's hands, but he's an honest person. We can talk more in the future. But for now, let's settle down first." Lin Yi said, "We don't know who's with the Shinshin ancestor, so it's best if we don't form cliques. We'll listen to you. Anyway, we won't form cliques." Xinyan nodded. Chapter 3496. Lin Yi and the other two settled down and rested for a bit before heading to the restaurant for dinner. Lin Yi brought Xinyan and Han Jingjing to the restaurant on the first floor of the inn. When he went downstairs, he heard two people talking in front of him, and one of them was the Lu Taishao he'd met earlier. "Brother Lu, you may be strong, but there are a few people in this trial that you cannot afford to mess with." The one who spoke was a freelancer from a foreign land, but while he was a freelancer, he naturally got along well with Lu Taishao. "Oh, little two, you're quite well informed. Tell me, who can't be messed with?" Lu Taishao said casually. He was a sky class full mastery, and in his eyes, there was no one he couldn't mess with. Kong Mingming is someone we can't mess with. He's the son-in-law of the founder of this trial, Elder Shinshin. While he's just a refiner, he's not someone we can mess with. Little two said. Oh, of course. Lu Taishao felt good about himself, but he wasn't an idiot. He knew the power of the Five Elements sect, and normal people couldn't afford to mess with them. Who else? There's also a fierce person from the Everyday and Everyday sect. I heard that in the past trials, the participants who fought with him didn't gain anything out of it. This person is called Zhang Naipeo, and his practitioner's arts are quite strange as well. Little two said, Zhang Naipeo, I've heard of him. He really is a fierce person. Lu Taishao withered upon hearing that it was someone from the Everyday and Everyday sect. He knew how strong this sect was, second only to the Five Elements sect. There's one more person we can't mess with. He's a freelancer, but I've heard that he's always crushed Zhang Naipeo in the past trials. Little two said, It can't be. Can a freelancer be that strong? Lu Taishao had heard of Lin Yi as well, but he thought to himself, how strong could a freelancer be? He was afraid that it was all just a bluff, so he said disdainfully, It doesn't look like there's anything great about it. Sure, I say, Brother Lu, you have to be careful. The walls have ears. Don't let it get to Lin Yi's ears. Be careful not to get into trouble. Tu Xiaoshou hurriedly said, Let's not talk about whether the rumors about the previous trials are true or not. Even if it's not true, that Lin Yi is at least someone who can fight Zhang Naipeo. Even if he lost, Naipeo didn't do anything to him. That's enough to prove that he's not simple. Humph, is it true? Perhaps Naipeo was taking pity on him. He might not even die. Lu Taishou snorted, a little disdainful of Tu Xiaoshou's cowardice. That Lin Yi, no matter how strong he is, he's only at the peak of Heaven Realm. He's just a rogue cultivator without a sect or sect. You and I are both Heaven Realm full circle experts, 2 versus 1. You're still not confident. That's true, but I heard that Lin Yi's practitioner's arts are very strange, and so are his techniques. He's known as the number 1 under Heaven's laws, and I heard that he can kill a Heaven Realm full circle in one hit. I think it's best to be careful. Tu Xiaoshou said in a low voice. All right, it doesn't matter how strong he is. We don't have much to do with him. We'll let that legendary Zhang Naipeo fight him. Taisao said with a wave of his hand. All right, let's not talk about this anymore. Tu Xiaoshou shook his head. It seemed that Lu Taishou didn't really think much of Lin Yi. It was normal for a disciple from a sect like this to look down on a freelancer. Tu Xiaoxiu was also a heaven realm full circle like Lu Taisho, but when the two were together, Lu Taisho was the leader. Linny heard their conversation from not too far away, but he wasn't interested in looking for trouble with them, because Linny didn't care at all. If these people thought he was strong, then so be it. He didn't even bother looking for trouble with them when they went downstairs. Not now. After all, Linny shook his head. After the two entered the dining hall, Lin Yi brought Xinyan and Han Jingjing with him. Lin Yi saw the practitioner Xiao Ran from afar, eating at a table by himself. He raised his head and gave Lin Yi a friendly smile when he saw Lin Yi. Lin Yi nodded back. Since the guy was being polite, there was no need for Lin Yi to treat him coldly. As for building a good relationship with him, Lin Yi didn't think about it. This test was different from the past, and Lin Yi didn't want to stand out too much. He didn't want to form a clique. Many of the inheritors in the test had connections with Lin Yi, so if Lin Yi were to form cliques with other participants, then Xianxin would be wary of him and cause unnecessary trouble. Lin Yi would lose more than he gained. His purpose for coming here was very simple. He didn't want to become enemies with anyone. He just wanted to pass the test and participate in the Heaven Rank meeting and go to the Heaven Rank Island. As long as he could achieve this goal, Lin Yi could just muddle along. There was no need for him to cause trouble. The dining hall was a self-service restaurant. There were no waiters, and one had to go to the window to order. When Lin Yi arrived, Lu Taisho and Tu Xiaoxiu were ordering their food. Seeing Lin Yi walk over, Lu Taisho snorted disdainfully, "Line up slowly and wait. You don't know the rules." Lin Yi looked at him indifferently and didn't say anything. "Fuck, what are you looking at? Do you think you're so awesome? You're just a rogue cultivator. Do you dare to say your name?" Lu Taisho glared at Lin Yi. He came here to find a sense of existence and to step on people for fun. "I'm Lin Yi," Lin Yi said. "Lin Yi, all right, I'll remember it. We'll meet in the test." Lu Taisho was talking nonstop when Tu Xiaoxiu's face changed. He kept pulling on Lu Taisho, telling him to stop. "What? Why are you pulling me?" "Brother Lu, Lin Yi. He's Lin Yi," Tu Xiaoxiu reminded bitterly. "Lin Yi? What's wrong with Lin Yi?" Lu Taisho paused, and his face changed all of a sudden as he looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. "You? Why you? You're the Lin Yi who fought against Zhang Naipeo?" "Fight? More or less." Lin Yi nodded. "It's more like he's the one who gets hurt every time." Well, young Master Lin, why don't you order your food first?" I'll wait a bit. Lu Taisho was trying to act cool, but he didn't because he didn't care. Once he saw Lin Yi, his legs went soft. Chapter 3497. It's the end of the month. Please get some tickets. Does anyone still have tickets? Vote for the Fishman. Oh, N_N. Oh, thank you. Also, I recommend the Fishman's new book, Top Grade Cultivator. Since Lin Yi's rumor hadn't been dispelled, there had to be a reason behind it. He could pretend to be pretentious if he had nothing better to do, but if he really met Lin Yi, he wouldn't want to risk his life. When they were at the Mystic and Earth class, perhaps some people would still be unconvinced and feel that they were the strongest. But when they reached the Sky class, everyone became more cautious. After all, this strength was hard to come by, and no one was willing to fight to the death with others without any grievances. Lu Taisho was thinking this way. Those who were obviously weaker than him, such as Xiao Ran, he could step on them without fear. But Lin Yi's strength was still unclear. It was said that he could instantly kill a Sky class full circle master, so he was probably a full circle master. With this kind of strength, Lu Taisho didn't dare to be rash. Lin Yi looked at him, a little amused, and brought Wang Xinyan and Han Jingjing to buy food. Maybe it was on purpose. Han Jingjing whispered something to Wang Xinyan, and so the two of them revealed their Sky class full circle late stage strength at the same time. This stunned Lu Taisho, who had dodged to the side, and he was so scared that he almost knelt down. How were these Lin Yi's family? They were clearly two top practitioners who came to participate in the trial. Wasn't he just 2F* king powerful? Thinking of this, Lu Taisho didn't hesitate and quickly said, "Ladies, please." "Haha, I was afraid that someone else would take the lead, so I specially helped you to reserve seats. Please order." Xiao Ran was speechless as he watched from the side, But this was the first time he felt Lin Yi's power. He could make someone as arrogant as Lu Taishao submit. For better or worse, he and Tu Xiaoxiu were at the great perfection of the heaven rank. When they saw Lin Yi, they felt a bit terrified. Now that they saw that Lin Yi was also at the great perfection of the heaven rank, they were scared to the point that they regretted saying those words. Fortunately, Lin Yi didn't care about it. Otherwise, he really hadn't participated in the trial yet. He was crippled by someone. Although the Five Elements sect had a rule that private fights were not allowed during the period of staying in the inn before the trial. But rules are dead. People are alive. Would the rules of the Five Elements sect really apply to Lin Yi, who could kill several experts of the Five Elements sect in one breath? Lu Taishou was very suspicious. He calmly retreated with Tu Xiaoxiu, but when he passed by Xiao Ran's table, suddenly, he saw Xiao Ran looking up at him, and immediately became angry. What the F***ck are you looking at? Are you looking for a beating? Xiao Ran was startled, and immediately lowered his head in fear. He was just casually looking. Who would have thought that Lu Taishou would directly vent his displeasure on him? But even though he knew this, he didn't dare to refute, and could only say, I don't dare. Don't dare? I think you are very daring. Simply too daring? Are you looking at me as a joke? Lu Taishou finally found a point. How could he give up so easily? He didn't dare to provoke Lin Yi, but this Xiao Ran was no problem. A peak late-stage heaven-rank rogue cultivator. Dealing with him was simply a piece of cake. I just felt the aura of the great perfection of the heaven rank. So I looked up. Xiao Ran smiled bitterly. You didn't? I think you are very talented. Simply too talented. Lu Taishou slammed the table and said, You mother*****, stand up. Xiao Ran's heart surged with humiliation. The Xiao family had been in decline for many years, even to the point that it was lower than an ordinary family. If it wasn't for his luck, he wouldn't have been able to cultivate all the way to the peak late-stage heaven rank. He planned to use the heaven rank trial to amaze the world, ascend to the heaven rank island, and then come back to revive the Xiao family. Before the Xiao family was revived, all grievances could be endured. He took a deep breath and slowly stood up. But at this time, just as Lu Taishou was about to flip out, an accident happened. Lin Yi turned his head, looked at Lu Taishou indifferently and said, Brother Xiao Ran, I ordered a little too many dishes, help me get them. Xiao Ran was stunned, and then a look of gratitude flashed across his face. Lin Yi helped him out, and he didn't believe that Lin Yi's group of 3 couldn't get the dishes. Lin Yi nodded to him, indicating for him to come over. Actually, Lin Yi didn't want to form a faction before, but seeing Xiao Ran being bullied, Lin Yi decided to lend a hand. After all, Xiao Ran had kindly reminded him before. Even if he didn't need Xiao Ran's reminder, it was still Xiao Ran's good intentions, and helping Xiao Ran now was just a small effort for Lin Yi, so Lin Yi spoke up for him. Of course, Lin Yi didn't have any intention of becoming friends with Xiao Ran at the moment. Before they landed on Heaven Tier Island, Lin Yi had to keep a low profile as much as possible. Lu Taishou was a little stunned, but he immediately understood that Lin Yi was helping Xiao Ran. He sighed helplessly and walked out of the restaurant with Tu Xiaoxiu. He didn't have the face to stay there any longer, and even though his heart was filled with hatred, there was nothing he could do. Want to take revenge on Lin Yi? He didn't dare, and he didn't have the strength to do so. Since that was the case, he could only leave quietly and see if he could cause some trouble for Lin Yi during the trial. He was a vengeful person, and while he seemed to have given in on the surface, his heart wasn't. If he had the chance, he would definitely teach Lin Yi a bloody lesson. However, just as he was about to walk out of the restaurant and take a stroll, he heard a commotion at the entrance of the inn. 2 challengers opened the door to the inn, one on the left and one on the right. Then, the 2 of them walked in, one in front of the other, arrogantly. These 2 were the people Lin Yi hadn't seen in a long time, Zhang Naipeo and Zhong Pingliang. Zhong Pingliang was in front, and Zhang Naipeo was behind. No matter how you looked at it, Zhong Pingliang was Zhang Naipeo's boss, as well as the founder of the Everyday and Everyday sect. What's worth mentioning was that after a period of tempering his soul and body, Pinliang had finally digested the original Mad Dragon Master's inheritance and stepped into Sky-class late phase peak once more. He was planning to use this trial as an opportunity to break through to Sky-class full circle in one go, near the 5 Malevolent Dragons Cave where the 5 Malevolent Chi was abundant. Zhang Naipeo, on the other hand, had successfully broken through his Heart's Demon and stepped into Sky-class late phase peak. He was a true top-class master now, and he had two goals for this trial. The first was to train his ability to absorb and resist the 5 Malice Chi, and the second was to work with Zhong Pingliang to kill Lin Yi. Chapter 3498. At this time, Dongfang Badeo had already successfully promoted to the peak of the late stage of Heaven class, and he also wanted to use this trial to stimulate his potential under the pressure of the 5 Evils Chi and break through to the peak of Heaven class in one fell swoop. In fact, most of the people who came here, including the inheritors, wanted to rely on the strong pressure of the 5 Evils Chi to break through the limit. Ordinary cultivators wanted to break through themselves, and inheritors wanted to strengthen their inheritance. The so-called 5 Evils Chi was actually a kind of demonic Chi similar to the spiritual Chi of heaven and earth, but not the same. The spiritual Chi of heaven and earth was universal, but the 5 Evils Chi was not. The 5 Evils Chi was a mixture of the 5 attributes of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. This kind of Chi was called demonic Chi. Because it had 5 attributes, ordinary cultivators couldn't absorb it at all. When absorbing their own attributes, they also had to absorb the Chi of the other 4 attributes. In this way, they would go crazy, and in the worst case, they would explode and die. Of course, in the 5 Evils Wildland, this situation was not serious. As long as one didn't practice, there would be no problem. But in the 5 Evils Mountains, it was different. Here, even if you didn't practice, the 5 Evils Chi would whiz into your body, so it was not something you could just ignore. In this way, you must go all out to fight against these 5 Evils Chi, resist the pressure, break through the limit in the battle with the 5 Evils Chi, and improve your strength. And the inheritors were the same. The inheritors also used their own strong 5 elements to resist the 5 Evils Chi, to achieve the purpose of strengthening their own inheritance. In addition, the only ones who were not affected were the 5-element cultivators like Lin Yi and a few demonic cultivators, such as Zhang Naipeo. This guy practiced the wasp absorption art and could absorb all kinds of Chi, demonic Chi, and poison to turn into his own Chi. In the past, he practiced in a group of poisonous bees and poisons, and now he was called a mobile detoxification pill by the everyday sect. If the food was poisonous, he could find Zhang Naipeo to suck it. If anyone was poisoned, he could find Zhang Naipeo to suck it. Therefore, in the 5 Evils Wildland, Zhang Naipeo was not only unaffected, but could also practice. This was also the reason why Zhang Naipeo shone in the trial of the Heavenly Elixir sect last time. And Dongfang Badeo was alone, and he also knew the danger of this trial, and so, he met 2 masters from the everyday sect on the way. He hated Zhang Naipeo for killing his grandson, but he didn't care. However, Dongfang Badeo was a scheming man. He knew that he wasn't Zhang Naipeo's opponent at all. He didn't even need to fight, so he chose to surrender directly. He would become Zhang Naipeo and Pinliang's lackey. In comparison, he hated Lin Yi even more. After all, Dongfang Bushu had been killed in the trial. Life and death in the trial was up to fate, so he could not blame the other trial takers. However, it was different for Lin Yi. That was in the secular world. Furthermore, he had killed more than one expert from the Dongfang family. The Dongfang clan previously had a total of 10 heaven stage experts, and 6 of them died a violent death. As a result, only Dongfang Badeo and Dongfang Jinxing were left. The other 2 were not even from the Dongfang clan itself, but were guest elders. The Dongfang clan directly fell from the top ancient sect to the altar. One had to know that, except for the Ice Palace and the 5-element sect, most of the ancient sects and families only had 2 or 3 heaven stage masters. They only had 2 or 3 sky class masters. For example, the Dark Palace and the ancient House Feng only had 1 or 2 sky class masters before Mingyao and Feng Shipian broke through. Therefore, the Dongfang clan was the existence of the military leader level. As a result, they were beaten by Lin Yi into a half-disabled bottom family. How could Dongfang Badao not be angry and resentful? So he had a chance. He would kill Lin Yi. And Dongfang Badao also learned that Zhang Naipao and Zhong Pinliang had hatred with Lin Yi. Anyway, they had cooperated to encircle the three ancestors of the Bloodcloth Underworld sect last time. It didn't matter to cooperate again. Lin Yi, this kid, spent a lot of money to hire bodyguards from the Bloodcloth Underworld sect. In the secular world, Dongfang Badao didn't dare to do anything to him. Later, when Lin Yi leveled up, he didn't dare to do anything to him. But in the trial, it was different. If he died in the trial, who would care? Even the people from the Bloodcloth Underworld sect couldn't come to the trial to protect Lin Yi, right? Besides, thinking back to the beginning, he was really shocked by the people called Ghost King Kong and ignored the existence of Lin Yi. Now thinking about it carefully, even if Lin Yi had money and could hire the Bloodcloth Underworld sect, he might not be able to hire them as bodyguards all the time. If he took advantage of that time to kill Lin Yi before Lin Yi leveled up, there wouldn't be so many troubles. Hey, one step slower, every step slower. Now, he pinned his hopes on Zhang Naipao and Zhong Pinliang. Along the way, he already knew that Zhong Pinliang was the reincarnation of the Mad Dragon ancestor of the Everyday and Everyday sect, so he was more confident to kill Lin Yi. As for the other person who opened the door, it was the Fist Master of the Holy Fist Palace. He came here to find Zhang Naipao to avenge his poor disciple, but he was subdued by Zhang Naipao as soon as they met. Now, he was suffering. His body was injected with poisonous gas by Zhang Naipao, and Zhang Naipao could control his poisonous gas at any time to make him feel worse than death. This poisonous gas was actually a special kind of true qi transformed by the wasp absorption art and the chrysanthemum book. It was similar to the mother and son true qi. Zhang Naipao could shoot out the true qi and hit others, and then achieve the purpose of controlling this person. Imagine, if this person was disobedient, Zhang Naipao would let the poisonous gas take effect, and this person would be in extreme pain, unable to use any strength. If he attacked at this time, he would definitely die. Of course, this trick was only effective for external masters for a long time, because internal masters, like the true qi, could resolve it on their own when they reached the level of sky class. It was only a matter of time. However, if it couldn't be resolved at that time, it would definitely have some effect, and it could temporarily make people lose their ability to attack. Therefore, this trick was very powerful. Only Zhang Naipao, who practiced the chrysanthemum book and the wasp absorption art together, could activate this trick. Otherwise, both of them were indispensable. Therefore, the Fist Master of the Holy Fist Palace was temporarily controlled by Zhang Naipao. He was a physical master, and he had no true qi in his body, so he couldn't resolve Zhang Naipao's poisonous true qi at all. Therefore, as long as Zhang Naipao was within 100 meters of him, the true qi in his body could be triggered, and that really made him feel like dying. Chapter 3499. Tai Xiao saw how strong these two were. Having a sky class opened the door for them. They had to be strong people. Little hands. Who are they? I don't know the one in front, but I've seen the picture of the back. It's Zhang Naipao, the one known as the strongest person after Lin Yi, Tu Xiaoxiu explained. He's Zhang Naipao? Tai Xiao's eyes flashed with excitement as he sighed and ran over. It's Gunslinger. I've heard so much about you. Naipao paused and looked at Tai Xiao curiously, confirming that he didn't know him at all. Who are you? Do you know me? Gunslinger. I'm from the Swamp faction of the Foreign. I'm Tai Xiao. I've heard of Gunslinger's name many times, and I'm here today to join Gunslinger. Tai Xiao quickly introduced himself. Other than the ancient sects of the Central Plains, there were other families and sects in the Foreign. It was just that these sects didn't have any contact with the Central Plains, living their own lives, only appearing when Sky Class Island was about to open. Tai Xiao joined Naipao's side because he wanted to vent his frustration. He had a conflict with Xiao Ran before, and then with Lin Yi, so naturally he couldn't join Lin Yi's side. He wouldn't be welcomed even if he did. He wasn't happy about it, and wanted to teach Lin Yi and Xiao Ran a lesson, so the best choice was Zhang Naipeo. He heard that Naipeo and Lin Yi had a grudge, and that he was quite a strong person as well. As long as he provoked them properly, Naipeo would definitely clash with Lin Yi again, and he'd be able to rejoice then. In truth, he still had a dark side to him, thinking that Lin Yi had lost face when he taught Xiao Ran a lesson. Oh? Naipeo was a bit puzzled. Why did the foreigners know about him? If they were from the Chinese server, then it would be understandable. What's your strength? Naipeo wanted to make sure that this guy wasn't that weak, and wanted his protection so that he could get some points in the test. Naipeo didn't mind taking in some strong underlings, just like how Lin Yi took in a bunch of underlings. But the key problem was that he couldn't accept a burden. If he went to the trial, he would have to take care of his underlings. That would be troublesome. I'm an expert at the peak of the late stage of heaven rank. Lu Taisho revealed his strength, then pointed at Tu Xiaoxiu and said, he is also my friend. He has the same strength. Tu Xiaoxiu didn't know why Lu Taisho was on Naipeo's side, but it was definitely a good thing to have someone strong protecting him in the test. He was on Lu Taisho's side because he wanted to have someone to rely on in the test. Otherwise, he'd die on his own. Canon. Since these two are willing to be your underlings, you should accept them. Pin Liang said faintly as he looked at the two of them. Yes, Liang bro. Naipeo nodded quickly. All right, if that's the case, then you two can follow me. This is my boss, Zhong Pingliang. He's also the founder of the Everyday and Everyday sect. Show some respect. Lu Taisho looked at Pin Liang subconsciously. So young, and he was already being called a founder? How strong. But thinking back to the evil energy of the Everyday and Everyday sect, it wasn't surprising that he was the founder at such a young age. Greetings, Mad Dragon founder. Tu Xiaoxiu quickly came over to greet the two as well. And, let's go eat something. I'm starving on the way here. Pin Liang waved his hand, gesturing for everyone to go eat first. Excuse me, can you guys do a registration? The shopkeeper walked over carefully. He'd already confirmed the identity of the newcomer, so he didn't dare act rashly. Register my ass? Do you think I'm an imposter? Pin Liang slapped the owner, sending him tumbling on the ground. He wasn't just any Pin Liang now. He was the founder of the Mad Dragon founder. This sky-class island plan had been started by him and the Shinshin ancestor back in the day, and so only the Shinshin ancestor could talk to him. If it were anyone else, Pin Liang wouldn't even give a shit. The Everyday and Everyday sect was an indispensable sect for the opening of Sky-class Island. And Naipeo, he was one of the indispensable candidates. Naipeo's job was the same as the other heirs, to absorb the 5 malice demonic chi from the entrance formation, relieving the heirs of the burden. Only someone like Naipeo could do that. He could absorb the 5 malice demonic chi, and so he had the right to be arrogant. If the Shinshin ancestor hadn't come looking for them, they wouldn't have been able to open Sky-class Island. It was only after the death of the Mad Dragon founder that the Everyday and Everyday sect started to decline, and the Shinshin ancestor didn't really care about them anymore. But now, Pin Liang was resurrected. We wouldn't dare. The shopkeeper who was beaten had a bitter expression on his face. He didn't expect the people from the Everyday and Everyday sect to be so overbearing, but he didn't dare to interrogate them anymore. He could only let them in while he secretly called Patriarch Shinshin. Pin Liang and Naipeo swaggered towards the restaurant, but Taisa stopped them halfway. Wait, what are you doing? Pin Liang paused, a little unhappy. We'll talk about it when we eat. Why are you stopping me? No, it's just that I have something important to tell you. Taisa said. There's a tough guy eating with his family in the restaurant right now, and he's not letting anyone in. What? Who's so arrogant, taking over a restaurant all by himself? Isn't that what I do all the time? Pin Liang laughed. I, Pin Liang, have lived for so long, and there aren't many people who dare act cocky in front of me. Yeah, but this guy is really arrogant. Taisa nodded. Tu Xiaoxiu and I were scared out by him just now. What an idiot. Scared out of him just like that. Who's inside? I'd like to see if they can scare me out too. Pin Liang laughed coldly, not caring at all. Yeah, let's see who's the one scaring who. Naipeo nodded as well. He was just about to show off his newfound strength, and someone came knocking on his door. That guy said he's called Lin. Taisaw said weakly. Who cares what he's called? Gah. Pinliang stopped in his tracks and turned to Taisaw. What did you say? He's called Lin? Chapter 3500. That's right, it's Lin. I heard that he's a very hard person to get along with, and even I got kicked out. The only ones eating in there are Lin and his 2 family members, as well as a follower named Xiao Ran. Taisho said, fanning the flames. Tu Xiaoxiu, on the other hand, had to admit that Taisho really knew how to sow dissension. With just a few words, he'd shifted all the hatred and conflict onto Naipeo. Naipeo and Lin were already at odds with each other, and now Naipeo was saying that he wouldn't let anyone in to eat. He wouldn't be Naipeo if he could take it lying down. As expected, it was Pinliang beside him who got pissed before Naipeo could. Pal, let's go in and have a look. If it's Lin, we should at least greet him. It's been a while. He'd pissed his pants last time at Star West and didn't dare cause trouble for Lin out of fear. After all, Bloodcloak Yellow Springs was under the protection of the Killer Kong duo, and Lin was hired by Bloodcloak Yellow Springs. Pinliang had to give them some face. But an employer was an employer, and Bloodcloak Yellow Springs was under the Killer Kong duo, but Lin wasn't. He'd given them some face, and that was the best he could do. Besides, conflicts in the test were unavoidable. There was no way Bloodcloak Yellow Springs would turn on him just because of an employer. That was obviously impossible. All right. Naipeo nodded as he followed Pinliang into the restaurant. Dongfang Badeo, Lawless, Taisho, and Tu Xiaoxiu followed behind them. Bam! The restaurant door was kicked open by Pinliang. Lin was eating with Han Jingjing and Xinyan when the sudden noise startled him. Lin turned around to see Pinliang and Naipeo walking in. Isn't this Mr. Lin? Pinliang laughed. Long time no see. I wonder if you still remember this old classmate of yours. Wanting to kill you? Lin looked at Pinliang faintly. Sky class late phase peak? This guy's leveling speed wasn't slow at all. Who knew what kind of treasure the everyday sect had given him for him to level up so quickly? Naipeo, on the other hand, had become a perfected master. Last time, during the trial of the Heavenly Elixir sect, the backlash from Lin Yi's move had formed an inner demon. He didn't expect that he would get out of the predicament so quickly. He was really a martial arts prodigy. Lin was getting more and more suspicious. His coming to Songshan was a trap set up by the mastermind. Otherwise, how could there be such a coincidence that all the girls around him were inheritors? The students around him were all martial arts geniuses. Still, this person who could see through the entire game was a master. Even Yushu wouldn't be able to match up to this kind of foresight ability, right? Shu the Prophet was already very powerful. But compared to this person, she paled in comparison. Pinliang, what do you want? Lin asked faintly. Haha, it's nothing. Do you know why I'm here? I'll tell you. I'm here for Mengyao. After the Sky Class Island incident, I'll get Mengyao. I can't get her heart, and it's the same with her body. I'm no longer the Pinliang from before. I'm Mad Dragon Pinliang now. Pinliang laughed as he threatened Lin. He'd always wanted Mengyao to fall in love with him, so he'd always used gentle methods. But now that he'd merged with Mad Dragon's personality, Pinliang became more decisive and ruthless, and his way of thinking matured. Mengyao was just a pretty girl, after all. He'd just capture her and bring her to the everyday sect. What was the point of pursuing? Strength was everything. Did the demonic energy invade your brain and turn you into an idiot? Lin looked at him. Just say it if you want to die. I'll send you on your way. I didn't kill you before because we were classmates, but I'm no longer the Lin from before. I'm Lin who can kill. I've already killed a lot of masters from the Five Elements sect. Your everyday sect won't make a difference. Good, very good. Do you dare to challenge us during the trial? Pinliang was getting annoyed. Ever since he became the Mad Dragon Elder, no one dared to disrespect him other than the Killer Kong twins. Boring, what's wrong with you? I'm going to the test, not to beat you up. If you want to get beaten up, go tell the inn and cancel your registration. I'll beat you up first, Linny said faintly. He didn't want to leave any evidence for the Shinshin elder. Once he checked into the inn, it meant that he couldn't openly fight in private before the test. If it was before, it wouldn't matter. But this time, Linny had to participate in the test. Even if it wasn't for himself, he had to do it for the inheritors. As a result, Lin Yi tried his best not to cause trouble, but Pinliang's endless chatter annoyed him. That's why he said that. No problem, I didn't register when I came, so it's not considered the test yet. If you're not satisfied, let's spar. Pinliang said directly. Are you sure? Linny looked at Pinliang strangely. Was this guy crazy? A sky class late phase, Peak dared to challenge a perfect class? In actuality, what Linny didn't know was that Pinliang was the Mad Dragon Elder of the Everyday and Everyday sect. How could he not have some abilities? Zhang Naipeo had those evil and mysterious arts, so it was impossible for Pinliang to not have them. Plus, although Zhang Naipeo failed in the test, he had to give Pinliang a bone-cleansing pill to appease the Everyday and Everyday sect so that they would do their best to wake him up. After taking the pill, Pinliang expelled all the toxins from his body, successfully merging with the Mad Dragon ancestor's soul inheritance. His practitioner's arts were actually a very evil existence. That's right. But in order not to hurt our relationship, we'll stop here. We can injure each other, but we can't go all out, Pinliang said. He was actually afraid that Linny would go all out and catch him off guard. Haha. Linny laughed. This Pinliang was admitting defeat after the challenge, but Linny really didn't want to kill Pinliang. Although he said that he hadn't completed the registration, he was already at the inn. If he really killed him, the Shinshin Elder and Kong Ming would come up with some nonsense. Linny really didn't want to waste time with them. All right, wait for me for a while. Let me finish eating. Chapter 3501. Pinliang was quite excited to be able to torture Lin Yi with his own hands. He didn't mind waiting a little longer. He brought Naipeo and the others to order some food and started eating at a table not far away. Lu Taishao, on the other hand, had a smug look in his eyes. He really was smart. With just a few words, he made the god of the Everyday and Everyday sect clash with Lin Yi, and it had escalated to the level of a duel. He was very happy to see Lin Yi get beaten up. At that time, he would be able to step on Xiaoran again. Motherfucker, this scoundrel. I'll let you see that your backer, Lin Yi, is also a piece of trash. Xiaoran may have been helped by Lin Yi, but he knew that he and Lin Yi had nothing to do with each other. Lin Yi helping him once was already very good, and it wasn't realistic to expect Lin Yi to help him again. Lin Yi was probably just taking care of her along the way. So Xiaoran quickly finished his food and left the restaurant when he saw Naipeo and the others come in. He didn't want to cause more trouble for Lin Yi. Lu Taishao was obviously on Naipeo's side, and if he came looking for trouble, would Lin Yi help him or not? However, as soon as Xiaoran walked out of the restaurant, he heard people talking about Naipeo. It turned out that the other participants were talking to the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper had just reported to the Shinshin Elder about the arrogance of the Everyday and Everyday sect, but the Elder didn't say anything. After all, the Five-Element sect was no longer the same as before. Before, they could suppress the Everyday and Everyday sect with absolute superiority, but now, how many masters were left? Plus, the plan of Sky Class Island really did need Naipeo's help. He really couldn't be offended, and so the Elder kept quiet and told the shopkeeper not to provoke them for now. However, although the shopkeeper knew that he wasn't a match for them, he could still complain in secret. Coincidentally, there were a few cultivators around, so everyone started chatting. They said some rumors about Zhang Naipeo, the Holy Fist Palace, and Dongfang Badeo on the way, which made the shopkeeper in Bagua robe feel amazed and cold sweat. He thought that it was fortunate that he did not provoke Zhang Naipeo and had a conflict with him. Otherwise, would he be controlled? Xiaoran didn't expect Zhang Naipeo to be so powerful. A top physical master of the Holy Fist Palace was controlled by him? Wasn't he being too vicious? Then Linny better not be controlled by him. He didn't know the difference between Naipeo's practitioner's arts for spiritual and physical practitioners. He thought it was all the same. So he thought he had to quickly remind Lin. Gratitude and gratitude were the morals of practitioners. He saw that Dongfang Badeo, a spiritual practitioner, was also Naipeo's follower. So he thought that he was under Naipeo's control. Thinking of this, Xiaoran went back to the restaurant and bought a bottle of water. He pretended to sit beside Lin Yi as if nothing had happened. This made Lin Yi a little puzzled. Why did Xiaoran come back? Brother Lin, listen to me. Xiaoran lowered his voice and said, Do you know anything about Zhang Naipeo? Oh, what's the matter? Lin Yi was slightly stunned. Someone was talking about Zhang Naipeo outside. I heard it. Xiaoran didn't talk much nonsense and said directly, I heard that on the way here, Zhang Naipeo had a conflict with Limitless Boxer of the Holy Fist Palace. Limitless Boxer wanted to avenge the disciple of the Holy Fist Palace who was disabled last time. As a result, before the fight started, he was subdued by Zhang Naipeo and became Zhang Naipeo's follower. Oh, Limitless Boxer? From the Holy Fist Palace? Became Zhang Naipeo's follower? Lin Yi frowned after hearing it. He was a little surprised. He only saw Dongfang Badeo before. Lin Yi could understand that he was with Zhang Naipeo. Lin Yi had killed more people from his family than Zhang Naipeo, so it was normal for them to have a common enemy. But the other one was actually Limitless Boxer of the Holy Fist Palace? Li Siba of the Holy Fist Palace was Lin Yi's follower. Now, Limitless Boxer of the Holy Fist Palace actually became Zhang Naipeo's follower. It was really ironic. What is the strength of Limitless Boxer of the Holy Fist Palace? How did Zhang Naipeo do it? Although Lin Yi didn't know the strength of Limitless Boxer of the Holy Fist Palace, he was sure that his strength was not low since he could participate in the Heaven Stage trial. It was really incredible that he could be subdued by Zhang Naipeo and become his follower. Could it be that after the wasp-sucking skill, the thorn skill, and the demon hell fist, Zhang Naipeo had practiced some powerful martial arts or mental cultivation method? Thinking about it, it was possible. After all, Zhang Naipeo had endless evil tricks in the past. This time, he would not be so arrogant if he was not sure. A physical master at the peak of the late stage of the Heaven Stage. He is a top master, even more powerful than the ordinary internal master at the peak of the Heaven Stage. Xiaoran sighed and said, I don't know the details of how Zhang Naipeo did it. I only heard that Zhang Naipeo casually patted Limitless Boxer of the Holy Fist Palace, and Limitless Boxer suddenly fell to the ground and rolled around in pain. What? Is there such an incredible thing? Lin Yi was stunned. Could it be that Zhang Naipeo was now able to control masters of the same level by just moving his hands? What did he rely on? This. Although it's a rumor, but I think it's 80% true. Otherwise, it's really hard for me to understand why Limitless Boxer would be involved with them. Limitless Boxer and the Everyday sect have a deep grudge. Xiaoran said quietly, Besides, I suspect that Dongfang Badeo was also subdued by Zhang Naipeo, because he is also a peak of the late stage of the Heaven Stage. There's no need for him to be a follower and suck up to those in power. Look at his and Limitless Boxer's attitude towards Zhang Naipeo. It's completely different from Luo Taisho. Luo Taisho is the kind of person who plays small tricks, borrowing power to fight power, looking for a backer, but those two seem to be very afraid of Zhang Naipeo. Is your information reliable? Lin Yi nodded faintly. One had to say that Xiaoran's analysis was very accurate. Sweat, I'm just a freelancer. How would I have any information channels? I just heard people talking about it when I went out, so I paid attention. Xiaoran said, Brother Lin, just be careful, then I'll go first. Don't cause you trouble here. It's not good if Luo Taisho uses me to find trouble for you. Lin Yi nodded and patted Xiaoran's shoulder. He had a good impression of this person. Chapter 3502. If Lin Yi stood up for him, then it would be him and Lin Yi going against each other, which was not in line with his original intention. If he wanted to target Xiaoran, he would have to wait until Lin Yi was finished. He wasn't that stupid. Lin Yi finished eating and looked at Zhong Pingliang, then said, I'm done. Are you done? We just ate. Of course we can't finish. Zhong Pingliang said. Then I'm leaving. Go back and rest. You gave up the challenge. I'll take it as you lost. Linny said. You. Zhong Pingliang was furious. What kind of logic was this? I can wait for you to eat, but you can't wait for me to eat? What kind of logic was this? However, there didn't seem to be any logic with Lin Yi. This person never seemed to be reasonable. He kicked him on the first day of school. How could he reason with him? So Zhong Pingliang could only grit his teeth and said, Fine, I can still beat you up without eating. Let's go. Liang bro, after you. Lawless Fist and Dongfang Badeo quickly opened the door for Pinliang to enter the restaurant. Zhong Pingliang and Zhang Naipeo walked in front, and Lu Taishou and Tu Xiaoshou followed behind respectfully. They came to the empty space in front of the inn, and Linny said, What do you want to compete in? Tell me. I can't beat you to death. You're so troublesome. You should know that I'm best at insta-killing my opponents. Insta-killing is too hurtful. We are old classmates. How about this? You and I fight for a few moves. If you lose, you better stop. Zhong Pingliang said with a wave of his hand. Oh, what if you lose? Linny asked. I won't lose. Zhong Pingliang said confidently. Zhong Pingliang's words made Linny laugh. Some people were like this, ridiculously arrogant, but Lin Yi couldn't make Zhong Pingliang do anything. If Zhong Pingliang lost, he lost. Lin Yi couldn't do anything to him. Could he kill him? Obviously not. Lin Yi wanted to keep a low profile during the trial. If he killed him, would Lin Yi still be able to participate in the trial? Forget it. Let's begin. Lin Yi waved his hand and said calmly. Pingliang's expression froze, and with a shake of his hand, a soft golden whip that looked like a golden dragon appeared in his hand. This was the Mad Dragon Patriarch's sky-class weapon. Lin Yi's expression changed slightly. Who would have thought that Pinliang would take out a sky-class weapon? One had to know that in this era where blacksmiths were extinct, it was extremely difficult to obtain a heaven-ranked divine weapon of one's own attribute. Not to mention obtaining one that matched one's own attribute. Even obtaining a weapon of other attributes was extremely difficult. Only a few sects with rich foundations would have it. For example, the ancient sects. It was impossible for ordinary sects and aristocratic families to have them. Fury of the Mad Dragon. Pinliang shouted suddenly, and the soft whip was like a mad dragon, flashing a dazzling golden light as it lashed towards Lin Yi. The head of the whip was like a dragon spitting fire, and the heat was scorching. It made people sweat profusely. This was the mantra that the Mad Dragon Patriarch cultivated, called the Mad Dragon Power. This cultivation technique was also a very heaven-defying cultivation technique. Just from its name, one could tell that it was a berserk dragon. Everyone knew how awesome a dragon was. Moreover, it was a berserk dragon. How mighty would it be? Back then, the Mad Dragon Patriarch was also a famous figure in the ancient world, and he could even fight against the Shinshin ancestor. It was just that he was killed by the Vajra dual fiends. Otherwise, not many people could be his match. Even if Pinliang was only at the peak of the late phase of heaven class and hadn't reached the great perfection, he was still an extremely powerful existence. The chi of the golden dragon that he activated. Not only was it extremely powerful, but it also had a suppressive aura. Think about how powerful a dragon's aura was. In the legends, the dragon was the king of kings. Otherwise, the ancient emperors wouldn't be called the true dragon son of heaven. This aura, it could make practitioners tremble in front of him, as if there was a mountain in front of him. In front of Zhong Pingliang, any practitioner with a slightly weaker temperament would kneel down in fear. Even those with a strong mentality wouldn't be able to use the mantra. After all, the might of a dragon was not to be trifled with. As the chi of the golden dragon was activated, Pinliang could already imagine how Lin Yi would kneel under his feet, because the people nearby were already trembling, not to mention Lin Yi who was fighting him head-on. Thump, thump. The first to kneel wasn't Lin Yi, but Pinliang's lackeys. Other than Zhang Naipeo, Wu Fist, Dongfang Badeo, Lu Taijian, and Tu Xiaoshou were all kneeling on the ground, trembling, not daring to look at Pinliang directly. Zhang Naipeo and Pinliang's arts were the same, and Zhang Naipeo could absorb any poison, qi, energy, and pressure. So, Other than the fact that it was a little hard for Zhang Naipeo to dissolve the pressure, there was nothing wrong with it. Wang Xinyan and Han Jingjing, on the other hand, felt their hearts palpitate, but for some reason, they didn't kneel on the ground. Pa! Pinliang's whip flew over, but it was caught in Lin Yi's hand. Lin Yi looked at Pinliang and said faintly, "What is this? Is it fun? Is it fireworks?" Wah! Pinliang's eyes went wide as he looked at Lin Yi. Lin Yi wasn't being pressured by his pressure, and was even holding his sky-class weapon in his hand. What was going on? That was impossible. His fury of the Berserk Dragon was effective against any cultivator. As long as it was a cultivator, they would definitely feel his pressure, unless the other party was not a cultivator. But Lin Yi was a practitioner, and a top-level one at that. How could Pinliang's fury of the Berserk Dragon be ineffective against Lin Yi? One had to know that fury of the Berserk Dragon looked very dazzling, but it didn't have much attack power. Its main purpose was to threaten the opponent, and as long as the opponent's psychological defense was broken, he could do whatever he wanted. "How are you fine?" Pinliang looked at Lin Yi, surprised. "What do you mean, how am I fine? Is there something wrong with you? You used an electric cannon to scare people, and I'm fine? I thought you got smarter after going to the Everyday and Everyday sect, but you're still so stupid. You're just trying to scare people because you're not strong enough." Lin Yi said calmly, "You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.